Yeah.
Yeah, not funny.
Not
No.
funny.
Nah.
Wouldn't lie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You couldn't see that I just did the kick.
Yeah.
This is the ideal Mario.
This is the ideal Mario. This is what peak Mario looks like.
You may not like it, but this is what the perfect Mario looks like.
Okay, I'm gonna start now.
Yeah. Sorry. We all shit post.
Okay, it's fine.
Oh,
All right.
is Red recording?
I'm recording.
Okay.
Hopefully my volume will not fuck up this time.
Okay. When last we left you, Blue Hearts, you had been challenged by Aaron Galareth, champion of Eldath, to prove your strength to carry the Grove Mother's Avatar Stone. After an intense battle against the Triton hero, you emerged victorious, and Aaron opened the way for you to the Deep Forest, the final leg of your journey and the home of the Deep Grove. Journeying into the mystery marshes of the Deep Forest, you were surprised to discover a woman's voice singing a sad song. Goff immediately recognized the voice as his mother's. Curious as to whether she was a lost soul within these woods or a trick the forest was playing on him, he disembarked the boat and sought after the voice. He found his mother, Xavia of Clan Cragbreaker, gathering berries within the wet marshland. She appeared to be blind and also suffering memory loss over her past life and how she arrived here. Goff offered to extend a hand to the defenseless woman, and she gratefully offered to make him and his companion some food at her nearby cabin. So that is where we pick up. You follow Xavia through the mists, your feet sinking into the wet leaves littering the soil, and ahead of you, you spy a dilapidated cabin suitable for a single owner. The walls are ramshackle, with holes in the wood, and the roof barely seems capable of keeping out the elements. Xavia moves up to the door and fumbles briefly for the doorknob, and upon finding it, she turns back and smiles gently before stepping within the shack. Coria looks over to Goff with a concerned expression, and then, shrugging her shoulders, she moves to follow the other Goliath woman inside. Blue Hearts, what do you wish to do?
I look at Goff.
I'll
I also look at Goff.
follow. Everyone looks at Goff. I'll follow Karia in.
Okay. As you all step within this cabin, it's very clear from the interior that this is not a very suitable living environment. It's fairly dirty. It's cold in here. Doesn't seem to be keeping out the elements. There's a small stove that seems to have run its course of firewood. You can see off in the corner a what must be the barest essentials of a bed, just a frame with some bedding on it. The sheets look a little threadbare. The windows are not covered, just exposed to the coldness of the marshes. And as you step inside, Xavia quietly takes the berry baskets and moves over to a kitchen counter. And she seems to fumble around a little bit looking for something. You're not really quite sure. And she calls out to the rest of you and says, please find somewhere to sit. I'm sorry, it's not the best. I'm not used to guests.
I grimace.
So the bot's a little choppy. I don't know if.
I hear the bot fine.
The
Oh,
bot
that might
looks
just be me
Mine
then.
too.
I hear it skipping.
I'm not sure what Goff will do here. He'll kind of like awkwardly hold his hand. He looks like he's gonna try and help her find something, and he kind of brings it down. And he's like clearly not entirely sure what is happening. He'll just kind of awkwardly stand off to the side, I guess, for the time being.
Okay. So after a bit, Coria kind of looks at the rest of you, just sort of standing around, and she kind of like elbows you, Goff, and then just moves past you and starts trying to help your mother.
Okay. I guess I'll take the hint and maybe offer to help as well.
Me too.
Okay. So, she kind of like points you out to like she doesn't point out anything because she can't see anything, but she kind of describes a few things that she's looking for. She says, "Oh, it's the least I could do to make you something. I've done a little baking in my time. I can make you some pastries that I was fond of from." And she kind of like trails off. I'm not sure. But I seem to remember them from an island. Anyway, I do remember the recipe. And she starts like pointing out a few things to Coria that she needs. Coria starts like going through the pantries and stuff, looking for various things, pots and pans and baking sheets and all that kind of stuff.
Where's someone gonna get the ingredients to make pastry in this forest? Besides,
I mean, she finds some like
Flour somewhere.
flour and various other ingredients for baking.
No, I just meant like where'd she get the flour from? Whatever, it's fine. It's a magical realm.
I mean, you could ask that question if you want.
No, God wouldn't think about it. I just, as a player, like, how did you get flour?
You can make acorn flour.
Can you?
From planting seeds.
You can make like flour out of a lot of things.
There's like tapioca flour.
At some point, like while Goff's trying to move around and help, he'll go near Alan, and just like get really close, like basically like lean down to like where his mouth is right next to her ears, so like what he's saying is very quiet, and he'll just say, "I am still very uncertain about this. Keep your eyes open as wide as you can. I may not see what you will see first."
Of course. And I will use my action to see if anything around is like trying to deceive my senses with magic.
Sure. What's the range on that?
Let me check. Did I say roll 20? I meant 5e tools. Like, yeah, they're the same thing.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
I know. Rogue, Inquisitive. Unerring, no. Steady Eye? No. Sorry, I'm like, where is it?
Hold on, I can take a look.
So 30 feet.
30 feet, okay. So the cabin's fairly small. It's your range covers that and more. It's a radius, right? So it's like a within 30 feet
radius
of you,
of,
like yeah. So like this is a small cabin. So you reach out your senses and try to detect if there's any sort of illusion or deception going on, magical deception going on within like a 30-foot radius around you in the forest. You don't get anything.
Okay, that's good. Alan's just gonna nod and say, I'll keep an eye out.
Okay. Hold on, check. Okay. So basically right now she's just trying to like put together something to bake something.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I would just pick up whatever she tells me to grab.
Okay.
Unless Kari is already doing all of that, I don't know.
Yeah, Kari is just sort of like helping her as much as she can, and like basically being her eyes as much as she can. After a while, she's like directs Karia to like a pile of wood that's sitting outside the cabin in order to stoke the fire in the oven. And she's just getting on with cooking as she's talking to the rest of you. She says, so what brings you to these woods?
I was I was guided here by the Grove Mother to seek the Deep Grove.
I have not heard of the Deep Grove, but it is good to meet another follower. And you see her move over to like a little kind of makeshift shrine that she's kind of put on the corner of one of the shelves in this cabin. It's very poorly done, obviously done by somebody who has no eyesight. But you can just sort of make out like a little crudely carved statuette of Eldath's symbol just sitting on the shelf.
Huh?
We got confirmation about her being a follower of Eldath last time, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mel had to leave early, so.
Oh, that's right. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Mel.
I'll miss that.
So we did know that.
Yes.
Just for but yes, we discovered that she is a follower of Eldath to some extent.
Okay.
No, yeah, when Mel reacted, I was like, wait, did we learn that?
Yeah,
and I was like second guessing. I forgot when Mel left.
Sorry. Yeah. No, that's just me.
Mel left about 10 minutes before the end of the session, and that's.
Oh, okay.
Because I had to wait 6 the next day.
Goff will like step closer to it, and he'll kind of tidy it up a little bit if it's like kind of askew.
There's like a few like it's askew a little bit, and there's like some dead leaves that have gathered, like been blown in from the nearby windows onto it, kind of messy.
So he'll just like clean it up a little and just say he'll say yes, it is quite fortunate. We both share her guidance, yes. Kind of uncomfortable and kind of trails off a little bit.
Mm-hmm. She kind of quietly like bows her head in front of the shrine and whispers a little prayer to herself before returning to baking.
Goff will say at some point after that, he'll say, so do you not know your purpose here? Have you just been living here as for some amount of time, unsure of why or how?
Yes, I have images, recollections of a past life, but it's all very hazy.
Goff is just very thoughtful about this. He's brewing an idea in his mind, but I think he'll kind of let things go along for a bit until maybe after like she's finished doing whatever dish she's making before continuing with my idea that I might have.
Okay. Okay. So Xavier.
Sorry, I'm kind of like It's hard to come back into it.
No, it's fair.
So I'm struggling to like think about. I'm trying to remember what I already asked her when we first saw her versus now. So I'm like not repeating questions.
Right. Okay. I mean, you can repeat questions if you need to, just for memory's sake. But she continues with her baking. I don't know baking personally, so
Judging.
She does a cool flip with the toast.
Yeah, she does a backflip.
Jesus, Grandma does a backflip.
Grandma does a backflip. So Xavier and Coria actually work in tandem to make this like basically like a snack, basically.
I'm guessing at some point that Karya basically ends up doing most of this work because he probably knows something about it because Goff doesn't, and he'll kind of like awkwardly split off and start like maybe like cleaning up the cabin,
Okay.
like not scrubbing it, but like just kind of
Right.
picking it, like just pushing like or reorganizing a little bit, maybe just cleaning up some
I want you to give
scattered.
me maybe whoever wants to actually give me just an insight check.
Me.
You know I want to.
Do one. I open up my
25.
character sheet.
25.
Doesn't matter because he the
Plus, fuck.
Goff's always rolling insight checks. You know how it is.
So
Whoa!
Ellen.
Big
Mido out here.
big eyes on Mido. So what did Ellen get?
big brain.
Sorry, math is 18 plus 15 is.
Fuck. A lot. 33.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, brain.
No problem. Actually, so as Goff continues, as Goff begins to sort of tidy up this cabin a little bit, sweep some of the dead leaves out of it, straighten a few things out. What do the rest of you do as this is happening?
Thistle does not know shit about baking.
I'm sorry. I super spaced out. What'd you say?
So Goff
Okay.
is
Nothing.
cleaning up the cabin, just sort of
Okay.
trying to
And then
tidy it up.
Thog asked what everyone else is doing, if anything. And then
Oh,
Because right
mine
now
was just
Corey
kind
is-
of like.
I just kind of
helping.
watch Goff for a second, and then I start prestidigitating quietly.
Yeah.
Mine sweep. Does she have a
Okay.
broom? She sweeps.
Yeah, you find a broom. So as you're all starting to kind of like do a little bit of tidying of the space, it really, I'd say with those insight checks, it really dawns on you just how poorly this woman lives. She's on her own, seems lonely, very unable to take care of herself, in a way that someone who may have only recently become blind would experience, because she just seems to not have any sort of like command of her environment. I would say that anybody who's like witnessing this environment would just kind of be a little distressed at how she's living. It seems like, I mean, it's cold. It's there's not a lot of amenities. Yeah, so I would say that's what your insight checks get you.
Oh. I was gonna try to tidy things up. Also, and just. Also, like, try to keep an eye out.
Sure.
Because Goff, like, asked her to.
While we're doing all this, at some point Goff will ask, so have you, are you the only one you ever known to live in this area? Is there anyone else around?
Oh, I've never met anyone. I think there's a small village a ways out. I've heard hunters on occasion, smelled chimney smoke, but I've never spoken to anyone.
Why do you find yourself out here instead of in the village?
Oh, I don't want to trouble anyone.
Why would you bring them trouble?
It's hard to explain. I just have a feeling.
With an insight, if I wanted to get insight, should I roll a new one?
For that, maybe, yeah, I would say an insight check. What are you trying to gain from
I
this.
just try to understand. Like, is she afraid of herself or something? Like, what is she scared of? What she might like? What is that statement? Like, what's behind that? Is she like afraid she's gonna hurt people, or that they're gonna hurt her? I don't know if I can gather that from that alone, but 22.
Okay. 22. I'd say a little from both. She seems a little. And you're even noticing this in your presence that she seems a little uncomfortable. She's kind of warmed up to Arcadia a little bit, but you get the feeling like she's not used to company.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's uncertain of what other people's intentions might be, and she's also maybe kind of you get a sense of like a latent just attitude that she has in herself about maybe that she's always causing problems or that kind of thing.
Oh, I see. Big mood. Okay. Well, I'm sure that. Well, suppose I don't know Elysium completely, but
Did you say Elysium?
yes,
Is that where we are?
yes, we are in the deep forests on the plain of Elysium.
And she just sort of gasps as if like the breath is caught in her throat. And she just you see though her eyes are closed, you see some tears kind of streaking her face.
You did not know.
No.
Are you glad to know this, or
I
sad?
am.
Well,
I do not feel her light, so I'm not sure.
well, the gods. They work in ways that are not always to be understood. I have only been here for a short time, a couple of days, perhaps. I am not sure why the deep forest is untouched by Eldath's glow, or why you have ended up here. But perhaps that we can find you a better place to live, or maybe we can acquaint you with those of the village if they are amicable.
That would be nice.
Tell me, Xavier, if you had the opportunity to remember the things you've forgotten, would you take that chance? Or would you rather live out the way you have, forgetting those things?
She looks down at the ground a little bit, and she seems thoughtful. And after a moment, she says, I'm not sure. I would like to know, I think, but I'm afraid. Afraid of what I'd discover. Of those I might have hurt.
Your condition, it might be beyond my grasp, but there might be something I can do for you, and maybe it will work, maybe it will not. But I could try to give you some of your memories back. But I cannot make any promises.
And she looks like she starts wringing her hands a little bit, and she looks very anxious. She's I have to check on the pastries.
Very well.
Wait, how is she gonna check on them?
She's just trying to get away.
Yeah, it was an excuse.
No, I know, but like
she kind of like stumbles a little bit over to where the oven is, and like Arcadia sees this and just immediately like her eyes go wide, and she just tries to stop her from burning herself.
Oh, no!
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
Corey looks over her shoulder toward you, Goff, and you just see her face is just this picture of worry. She whispers a few things to your mother. Just says, "Are you gonna be all right? Just hold on. I have to speak with my friend over here." And she steps away from Xavier and grabs your arm and sort of walks you a little bit further away toward the door.
Okay.
And she says, maybe it would be best not to ask her about her past life for now."
Yes. That's why I gave her the option rather than just doing it. I wanted to know what she would want. Sorry.
No, I have an idea. Why don't... She said there was a village nearby, and maybe you can find something out about them. See if it would be a better place to live for her. And I'll stay with her and make sure she's okay.
You sure?
Yeah, I think I can handle an oven. I think I'll be fine.
This is
I don't
being
know,
whispered, right?
What's that?
I said this is being whispered.
Yeah.
I don't know. Despite every sign pointing to otherwise, I still don't entirely believe this is her. This is where she is. This is real.
There have been stranger things
Sure.
that we've seen.
But my
If
mother.
you're worried, you can. If you're worried, I mean, and she points over at Tackle. I mean, maybe you could stay with me.
That's
if
not
your
my
friend's all
decision
right
to
with
make.
it.
That's up to Sissel, not me. You can ask her if you wish. Or I could ask, but
No, I mean, just think about it. That's all.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be insensitive to her trauma or the past which she fears. I don't know. Thought if I have the capability of giving her memories back, maybe it's something she wanted. I wasn't trying to make her afraid.
No, I know you weren't, but I imagine there's a lot of. This is a lot. This is a lot for everybody.
You're putting it lightly.
Yeah, I know.
The mother who barely spoke to me followed Eldath this entire time.
Well,
And now that I've met her, she can't even remember who I am. And on top of that, despite following Eldath in such an environment that forbade it, she is secluded, left into the darkness of this deep forest, feeling left behind, perhaps. It just doesn't feel right. I don't know. Like finally I could have a connection with the family that I never had a connection to. Not the past family, not you. You came later. But my childhood, all of those people involved could have had something. And it was never there, and now it could be there, but she doesn't remember.
There has to be a reason for it. Why don't you... Maybe you should all take a walk. Just clear your head.
All right. Yes, you're right.
I'll watch after her.
Question.
Yes.
Has Gov actually told the rest of the party that this is his mom?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes. I think he said it before we even got off the boat, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I think Karia or someone asked, and he said that's the sound of that's my mother's voice.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I remember now.
And then we did the JoJo Yeah, to be continued.
Oh.
Yeah, I just couldn't remember.
Just trying to see if there's anything I could like. This is probably pointless, but Goff will reach into one of his satchels and he'll pull out the gray bag.
Oh, the
Tricks.
tricks.
And he'll just say, "Here, I know it's not much, but with your concern over not being able to do what you used to be able to, this is at least some small thing I can give you in case something goes wrong or you need help." And he'll kind of briefly explain how it works.
Okay.
Just if you need a distraction, something to help protect you in case I do not know the nature of these woods. There should be nothing harmful, but just in case. And I'll just give that to her.
She takes it from you. All right. Thank you. I'll make sure she's all right. Okay.
I'll nod and I'll walk over to everyone else and say, Kari advises we should walk to the nearby village, see if there's anything we can get, any information we can get our way to help her. Gesturing towards Xavier. So I suppose we should probably do that. Kari will look after her.
Alright. She'll be okay?
I've given her one of the items we've collected. She suggested that if we were worried you could opt to leave tackle here. That is your choice.
I think you could stay here and keep watch. Tackle.
He tackle, like, stick his big old head inside one of the
Yeah.
windows because he's outside.
I give him a scratch on the nose and I just go, keep an eye on the people here for a little while, alright? We're gonna go walk to the village, but, just keep watch.
Tackle purrs a little bit and he just gives you a big sloppy lick on the side of your face. Gives you a big old cow lick.
Good boy. You're alright.
Just a rough. Can you imagine just like a big rough cat tongue?
Like a back scratcher on your face.
Tear some of that skin off.
Sissel's got scales. She'll be all right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might help her. No, that's weird.
Exfoliate.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, does Sissel shed?
Probably.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's canon now.
Yeah, it's canon now.
This
Does that
shed.
mean all
That's
dragons
how I had
shed?
Ken in the Aura. They
they gotta grow new scales.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I guess that would be how they how people get dragon scale, dragon
It
stuff.
kind of like flakes off. It's not like the whole thing just kind of
Yeah, you're not gonna
Yeah,
wake up
like,
one
you
morning and
lose
see
the-
Sissel like crawling out of her skin like a
A fucking
snake.
snake.
Oh.
Sissel.
I mean,
Snizzle.
we did learn that Sissel came from an egg. Who knows?
Who knows?
knows?
Who knows?
Sissel pops out of the egg and just does like the little snake tongue flick.
She molts and then fixes her skin so it looks like another Sissel.
Oh no.
She would.
She would do
Ew.
that. Okay. All right.
Goff will just Goff will go up to Xavier and say, "We are going to take a look around the nearby village. Kari will keep you company, as will Tackle. We will return shortly. I am sorry if my presence has brought you stress, but we hope to bring good news as on our return."
It's quite all right. It's been nice to have some company. She kind of like looks in the general direction of where the oven is. She says, "It should be done when you get back."
Good. I look forward to it. And he'll just gently, like, kind of place his hand on her shoulder, and then he'll step away.
Okay.
and mosey on with everybody else, I suppose. Wait.
Hmm.
He won't leave right away. As he puts his hand on her shoulder instead of stepping away, I'll say, which direction would this village be in? Would you know?
I'm not quite sure. I'm sorry. I know it's nearby. That's all.
Okay. Thank you. Then he'll step away.
Okay.
He'll step out. He'll step like I guess we're all stepping outside at this point. Maybe.
Yeah.
If I step outside after we kind of all get out there, and I listen, do I hear the sounds of like a village anywhere? Is it like that close, or would it still be pretty quiet?
Make a perception check.
Ooh, big. 28.
28. Wow. Okay.
It's an 18.
So I would say that you don't hear anything, but you do smell what smells like burning firewood, as if from a chimney or something like that. And it seems to be kind of wafting in with the wind, so you can kind of like do a survival check to kind of determine what direction.
Double check, huh?
Yeah.
22.
22. So yeah, I'd say your innate survival skills allow you to understand what direction the wind is blowing from, which will give you an approximate direction as to where this village might be.
So Goff basically acts like a dog. He just sniffs
Yeah.
the air, figures out, and then he floats towards the smell of food,
Oh my God.
Like
Yeah, I would
spider
do that.
spider ham. You smell a delicious pie. He'll step outside and he'll like just take a moment. He'll pause and look around and smell the air, and then kind of hold his hand out, feeling for the wind, and then kind of turn towards where it's coming from. And he'll kind of just gesture gently, like, I think roughly this way, pointing toward wherever the wind's coming from. And he'll start moving that direction.
Awful.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So as you are all following this trail through the woods, making your way through the muddy marshes, occasionally having to ford minor impassable banks of murky waters that have crept up onto the land.
Oh, our wagon got stuck.
Yeah. Eventually, you do spy in the distance a cluster of wooden buildings that are all enclosed in this high log fence. There seems to be some chimney smoke wafting up from some of the buildings. They don't seem to be that many buildings, maybe about 3 cabins in total, all ringed by this high like wooden fence. It's almost like a barricade, as if it's like with a large wooden gate on it.
Does it look like the kind of fence that's trying to keep something out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Important to know. So it's a I can tell there's like 3 buildings, but they're all behind a big wall.
Yeah. You can see like the chimneys poking out.
As we get closer, are there signs of like conflict, like combat, or like are there outside of the gate? Are there like scratches on the walls? Is there dried blood? Any signs of like people fighting or being attacked, or there
Make a
being
perception check.
conflict? Just because I want to see how
and anybody can give me a perception check.
I'm trying to see like
I'll
to
take a
perceive
look.
how much danger this area might be in.
Perception.
23.
23.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm probably not gonna. Nope.
Ooh.
Thank God I have advantage.
Roll the old dice-a-rooney.
So what I got for roll? 23.
Wow.
23.
Oh,
a
no,
natural
sorry.
1. What a jerk.
25.
Oh, jeez.
25 for Ellen. Sissel
I
and
don't
Grace,
know.
both big
Grace not
thinkers.
paying attention, I guess.
Okay.
She got a natural 1.
Yeah, Hiraeth just hears the hooting of an owl in the distance, and she's like, oh.
Oh.
And
Oh, beautiful bird.
Ellen and Goff, you give the wall, just like a quick appraisal. There are a few scratches on it, as if like maybe from wildlife. Maybe something else. Maybe not quite just wild animals.
Like something
something
bigger
humanoid.
or something. What's
Something
that?
humanoid in size.
Mm,
But you also notice what really sticks out to you about this wall, and in fact this entire village, is this is not giving off a vibe of like a little quaint community that people live in. This seems a lot more militaristic, is the best way to put it. This
The
seems like an
vibes here
outpost.
are rancid.
the vibes are. Hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, we didn't hear anything about what the people of the deep forest would be like.
No.
Right? We just heard this is a place for lost souls.
Yeah.
This is over the garden wall.
Are you all so I'll say that like this little settlement or outpost or whatever it may be is in the middle of a larger clearing. It seems as if the trees have been intentionally harvested or chopped down in order to provide like maybe easier
Segue.
line of sight, so that like nothing can hide basically. So how close are you getting to this? Are you like staying on like the edge of this clearing, or what is your plan?
If I look with that perception check, can we see if there's anyone taking watch on the tower or over the fence, over the
Hey,
gate?
I want to do something weird.
Oh, okay.
Let's let her do something weird.
I want to cast Mislead.
Oh, what's that do?
So
Oh.
basically, it generates a. Hold on, I'm like popping out my character sheet. It generates a Heraith. I've used it once before, but it generates
Right,
a
yeah.
Heraith where it looks like I'm just standing right there and I haven't done anything or moved, but I turn invisible and I'm
Okay.
able to like go
Sure.
walk around.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay,
You
so
become
where are you
invisible at the same time, and an illusory double of you appears where you're standing.
where are you placing this illusory double?
I'm just gonna.
Where
It's
she's
gonna be exactly where I
standing.
was standing. And I'm instead going to kind of like sneak away and
Okay.
see if I can
All right.
edge closer.
So is this Hiraeth illusion standing on like the edge of the forests,
Wherever the
forested
group is
area?
standing, yeah.
Okay. So has anybody else even noticed this?
Might have
No.
Have you
noticed me
told anybody this, or are
casting
you
a
just like doing it?
spell. It's
I wasn't
somatic.
paying attention to Heraith, so
Yeah, so it's only somatic, so you might have heard her mutter something, and then it just
I
looks
was
like
like,
she's
oh,
standing there.
Heraith's
No,
always
somatic's just
muttering.
the
Hand gesture.
hand movements.
Is somatic just a hand
Yeah.
movement?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if it was
verbally,
verbal,
just
it would
talk.
say verbal.
Yeah, that's what words mean, huh? Never mind. You don't hear anything then. She's standing right there. Nothing happened.
So yeah. So what's everyone's passive perception? And I'll have Hiraeth roll a stealth.
Roll stealth against all of my friends.
I'll give you
My
advantage.
passive perception is
Yeah, I mean
12. I
I'm
ain't seeing
invisible,
shit.
so I have
15?
advantage anyway.
Yeah.
15.
20.
Passive perception 20.
Didn't roll very well, so you guys are.
You got advantage on it.
I know I rolled advantage.
Oof. Big oof.
Yeah, it's only a 16, so.
Okay, so Goff and Ellen, you kind of notice that Hiraeth's form like flickers a little bit. Nobody else notices a thing.
I don't
Um,
see shit.
Can Ellen tell that
I
there
can
is now
also-
like an illusion or like magic deceiving?
Have you used your action to determine that?
If she sees the flicker, she'll probably just like cock her head and do that. I guess.
Okay. So as soon as you like use your action to tell if there's any illusory magic or deception going nearby, yes, there is.
Ellen just nods and then keeps. Like, okay, sure.
If you say anything, I mean, I can use a bonus action to like swap. I mean, actually, I don't even need to swap.
You
I'm
can-
probably close
You
enough
can
where I
swap
can just
with your invisible or your
you
illusion.
can see through its eyes and hear through its ears.
Oh, okay.
But I can also
10
control
million
it to make it gesture, speak, or behave in whatever way I choose. So I
Oh,
can
that's-
just
that's
like,
dope.
I'll just like have the invisible, like the double is just going to like look at Ellen and wink.
Ellen winks back.
Oh,
suddenly.
you know.
I love it. All right.
Ellen's just like,
All right. So you're invisible now.
yeah.
Roll the stealth check. Where do you want to go? Are you trying to get closer to this village, or
I just want to like get a little bit closer and see what I can see.
okay?
What-
Are you gonna try to get like a higher vantage point or something? Because it's
Yeah.
the wall's
Do I have to
pretty
climb
tall.
something?
You'd probably have to climb a tree nearby, and like
Is that athletics or is it
that's whatever you want it to be, athletics or acrobatics.
okay? I will try. That's the idea of Hirai's like climbing a tree is really silly, but I will. I'll do athletics because I'm strong as fuck.
Nice.
Oh, that's the
Okay.
natural
I'm
20
tight as fuck.
plus
Whoa.
12, so
All
I'm up
right.
that tree.
All right. Gun show Hooray Steel Song just like does a pull up and just pulls herself right up onto this this
She's
tree,
been working
and
out.
yeah, she's been working her upper body. So you get up to the top of this tree, and you can get a fairly good view from this distance. You're probably about 100 feet off from the wall. Looking within, you can see that this village is comprised of 3 small cabins. In the center of this village is what looks to be like a small bonfire burning,
Okay.
and you can make out. I'd say out in the open, you see 2 individuals.
Mm.
They appeared well. You can't really tell from this distance what they look like that much, but you do see 2 figures just kind of near the bonfire, poking at it and maybe grilling a little bit of meat.
The double is going to say, mostly relay a lot of this information that there's 3 buildings and that there's a bonfire in the middle and that there's 2 people I can see. They're around the bonfire. I don't think they've noticed anything. Why do you think some sort of military outpost would be in a god's domain?
God needs champions? I shrug.
Maybe
I don't
at
know.
this border on maybe like is this a border between this plane and maybe somewhere more
I'm pretty sure that's not correct, right?
Make a religion check.
Religion. 19.
19. So I'll say that since you have gotten to the deep forest, there's something about it that has struck you as off. Something that seems like as if there's a veil that's a lot thinner here than in other places. That's basically what you're going to get with a 19.
Like a planar veil?
Yeah.
Like maybe
So,
things
like,
are
what
bleeding
we're-
into the area that would not normally get into
That's
like the gardens.
certainly one
or-
interpretation. Yep. So
It's just a game theory.
Goff will kind of look around and think for a second, and he'll say,
We were warned about this place, right? What was it exactly again? What we supposed to not be like, not trust what we see? More
Did someone
wary?
say that?
Yeah, I thought we were. I thought somebody said something about that before we came in
Was
here.
that what
I'm
Undyne-
asking out of character. I cannot remember.
So Aaron said
All I
that-
know, all I remember that this place is that it's for lost souls, and
Yeah. That's really what Aaron said. Like,
did she say
Okay.
not? Did she say not to not trust everything we see? Did she say that?
no,
'Cause I
she
can't
didn't.
remember.
She didn't say that. No,
I was
she
misremembering then. So
she said specifically. She said that it is a place for lost souls and just to be careful.
okay.
And she's not aware of if there's any champions in this area.
I thought she said there was a champion.
Oh, did she? Okay, she did say there was
I
a
asked if
champion.
there would
She's
be a
not, she's
champion.
not aware of who it is. Is what she said.
Okay.
Yeah, she's
Right.
not. She doesn't know who it was.
We do not know who we are looking for, but there should be someone. They could be one of the people in there, or they could tell us where this person might be. But I'll look around. I don't think there's something about the deep forest that is unlike where we have been so far. I can't quite articulate it. I think it is a little less stable. I am no wizard. I am no scientist. I could not tell you quite why, but there's something a little different. Perhaps elements of other places find their way in. This certainly does not feel like the gardens or the rest of Aronia.
Aronia?
That's where you are.
Aronia is the domain.
Oh,
is the area where,
yeah, sorry.
that's
It's
where
the
we've been.
second
It's like, yeah,
tier of
Sorry, my
Elysium.
brain.
that's like that's where we've been like the whole time. It's like
I know.
Aronia is like
The layer.
it is the layer we are on in the greater of Elysium, which is like encompasses more.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sorry.
It looks as though that there might be more danger in this place, but we do not know what it is. I don't see much reason to completely conceal ourselves, as that might only bring more suspicion. I am considering just approaching directly. State my intentions. If things still go awry from there, then we will deal with it. And then I will have learned a lesson. But I do not know much about this place, and we need information. And it is probably fair that Xavier did not come here. It probably was a good choice. Well, unless anyone has any objections, I suppose I will step forward into what may be a trap.
Sounds like a plan.
Ellen, why don't you walk in front or near me? Keep an eye in front of our path.
Of course.
In case there are any things in the ground, any wires or ropes that I am unaware of.
I can do that.
I mean, I'm sorry that I keep forcing Ellen into these positions, but Goth is
mean-
not going to notice traps as much as.
Yeah.
And then again, actually, it's just a perception check, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, then I
it's
guess
an
like.
investigation check actually.
Oh, if it's an investigation, then I'm
Yeah.
not going to be able to see
Yeah,
anything.
Ellen can walk in front.
So Goth is just going to start walking towards this place.
Okay.
He's not going to try and stealth.
All
He's
right.
not going to move aggressively either. He's just going to walk towards it
Okay.
and try and not walk into any suspicious looking terrain if there
Alright.
is any.
Yeah, Ellen's keeping an eye out so he
Okay.
doesn't.
Alan, give me an investigation check.
Ooh, let's move slowly so that I can have advantage.
Jesus.
What?
We're not
No,
moving quickly.
13 plus 15. Oh god, what was that noise? Is
28.
28.
28.
Yes.
20. Yeah. There doesn't appear to be any impediments or traps that are buried in the leaves or the soil. Yeah, the way in front of Goff seems fairly clear. And Goff, as you're making your way out into the clearing, and your large Goliath feet are treading upon these leaves, and they sort of just like you hear just like a squishing sound underneath your feet as you're treading across the soil. Hirith, you see. Have you switched back to your actual yourself, or are you still looking through the eyes of the?
Yeah, I'll if you'll allow it. I didn't really
Yeah.
declare it, but yeah, if she's not as much participating in the conversation, she would swatch back.
Okay, so you actually see as Goff begins to move across into the clearing, the two elves near the fire. One of them kind of raises his head as if he hears something, and then he looks toward the gate, and then he taps his companion on the shoulder, and she looks at him with like this incredulous look, and the two of them jump up immediately from the bonfire. You see them kind of rush over to a weapon rack and grab some short bows, and they proceed up onto the wall.
Yuri's going to have the double say, they've seen or heard something. They went and got weapons. They're going to the wall.
It's just us.
Um,
Would I be able to hear her race double? Because I'm walking ahead. at this
You're
point.
already too
Double
far
fall. Yeah.
away, unless Hiraeth wants to use
Oh.
Yeah.
her earring to talk into that instead.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah. Okay. So.
I mean, I feel like. Oh, I guess the double doesn't have an earring, does it?
No.
But Hiraeth does.
Well, I already said that the.
Oh, the double
Yeah, but
said it.
she's
Yeah.
not. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
I already said
Oh,
that
the double said
it,
that?
so I'm not gonna.
Oh,
yeah.
the double.
I'm imagining there's some way that Goff could have been given this information,
Yeah.
either by having someone else say it through the earring,
Yeah.
by Herace saying it.
Okay. Yeah. We're not gonna play telephone.
Goff is aware of it.
You're aware of it. And I'll say, Goff, after a brief moment after you hear this information, you hear a whistle go up, like someone just like put two fingers in their mouth and just whistled, and you see two figures appear on top of the wall near the gate, and they both draw their bows upon you. And as you're now getting a good look at them, you're much closer now. You see that these two figures are adorned in wolf hides, save for their exposed arms. And on their arms, you can see the tattoos of an Eldathian champion, so similar to yours.
Goff is going to hold his hands up, like trying to, the way you would if you're trying to seem like, trying to show that you're not going to like attack.
All right. So as you stop and you raise your hands, you see the male elf, who's this kind of gruff-looking man with graying hair that's pulled back into a ponytail. He has an eye patch. He starts to. He looks hesitantly over at his companion and then back to you. They don't release the tension on their bows, but the man does speak, and he says, "Halt! State your business, stranger."
Goff will just remain standing where he is with his hands up and say, I am here on a trial by the Grove Mother. My name is Goff of Stillwater.
The male elf looks over toward his female companion, who looks a little bit younger than he does. This wood elf woman who has this kind of dark greenish hair that tumbles around her shoulders. They look a little hesitantly for a moment, and you see them release the tension a little bit on their strings. And it's at that moment that you see, you hear another whistle go up from inside the camp. And at this point, a third figure joins them on the wall and steps up between the two of them. And you can't really see this figure at first, as they are a gnome. And after a moment, they step up onto what looks to be like a little platform to get a better view of you. And what you see is a gnome with silver hair. Their torso is similarly draped in wolf hides, and they just have one hand on this mean-looking cudgel about their waist. A number of kind of pouches and satchels all over their form. And even from your distance, you kind of tell from this new arrival they're giving off like this faint earthen smell, almost like the smell of wet soil, kind of similar to you in a lot of ways. They too have these ritual tattoo markings across their arms. And after a moment, this new arrival, kind of surveys you with these cautious green eyes, and then they turn over to the gray-haired elf next to him and say, "At ease, Olivan. Look of it ain't blind. Besides, this big one's got marks." And the gnome turns back to you and says, "Sorry about the confusion, partner."
He'll say, no harm done. I have a party with me a ways back in the tree line. There was about 6 of us. Do not be alarmed.
Well, fair with yous. You're welcome on in. Can't be too careful in the woods, you have to understand.
I would like to speak with you all if that is all right.
Absolutely. Welcome to Dim Shade, by the way. And this gnome, they nod to the other guard, the woman elf, and she kind of sighs and withdraws her bow, and then she disappears from the wall for a brief moment, and then a moment later, the heavy wooden gates of this settlement part open, allowing you entry.
Goff will turn back towards whoever didn't already walk. I think it was just him and Ellen who walked up.
Yeah.
Did Ellen walk up?
I had Ellen
Oh.
walking with me so she could see
Okay,
if there's any
yeah,
like
yeah,
sort
Because
of
that was the traps.
yeah.
Yep.
And she is also very very hard to hit, so I felt like she would probably be safe.
Yeah.
Goff will turn back to everyone else and he'll just do it. He'll raise his hand like and nod and be like, "We're good," and gesturing for everyone else to follow. And then he'll say into the earring, and Haraith, whoever you are, it's all right.
Okay. The double will vanish, and I'll climb down and
Okay.
catch up with everybody.
Just hop on down
And
and
once
head on over to Goff and the rest of your party.
And once the party has rejoined with each other, Goff will approach the gate with everyone.
Okay.
Oh,
So as
doubles.
you all make your way inside this encampment, the door on the interior, when you step inside, is flanked on either side by the 2 elves who are holding the door open for you. And as you all step within, they shut the doors behind you. This gnomish individual is walking down a set of stairs that leads up to the top of that wall and is kind of like circling around to join up with you. And they look and he said, this gnome says, "Well, been wondering when the next champ would show up around here."
Them parts.
Has it been quite a while?
Well, nigh on 300 years.
Oh.
Oh.
Handle Xanram, by the way. And the gnome kind of extends a hand toward you.
Real quick before I shake his hand, how do you spell that?
Zanryn.
Wait, what did he say?
C-A-N-
He said handle. Wait, what was the name he
As
said?
if their name is Zanryn, so handle.
Yeah.
Oh, his handle is Zanryn. Okay, so say it
There
one
it-
more time. ZANRYN. Okay, sorry. I thought his name was his first name was Handle. His second name is Zanryn. Okay.
Hell of a name.
Handle man.
Well, it could be, I mean, Handel's like a German name, isn't it? Or Handel or
Yeah.
something. Anyway.
Hansel?
Hansel
My
Gretel.
goodness.
Handle is a composer.
Handle.
Yeah. Goff will return. I mean, it's probably a weird handshake because Goff's hand's like
It's
20
very-
times the
yeah,
size of
yeah,
his.
yeah.
But he'll
Like a
gently
finger.
gently like return it whatever.
Yeah, this gnome grips your finger, and it's a very strong grip.
I'm
Nice.
sure.
After a moment, Xanryn turns toward the elves that hold on, I'm just reading some notes. Xanryn turns toward the elves and says, "Here's the siblings, Olivin and Jothana."
Olivin. Jothana.
Yeah. Why don't you say a spell with us around the campfire?
Goff will nod to them and to the twins, and then he'll say, "Of course, sure. My thanks." And he'll
So Xanryn
find
heads
wherever
over-
spot.
Yeah,
is good
Xanryn
for
heads
us
over to
to
the fire, grabs a few like pieces of jerky, offers them up.
I'll take
Oh,
one
to
from
us?
Yeah.
them.
What's that?
I'll take one from them.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
I'll
also
one.
want some. What kind of jerky is it?
Salmon.
Deer jerky.
Deer?
Mm.
Ooh.
Better than bear meat.
I was gonna say, I have had bear jerky. It's not good.
Stinky.
So after a moment, Xanryn like takes a big bite of this jerky and then looks toward you, Goff, says, ain't you got a grove to be finding?
Yes, that is the end goal.
What brings you to our little settlement?
Well, to be honest, I know very little of the deep forest. This is my first time in Elysium in Aronia. And as part of the trial I've been set on, I was to come here for the deep grove, and a champion named Aaron from the garden said there would be a champion here, but she did not know who. And I thought perhaps one of you might be, or could guide me to this champion, or to where the deep grove might be, or at least help me understand the environment better if none of the above could be answered.
Well, as far as a champion of the deep forest is concerned, you're looking at him. 3 of us.
I had a feeling it might be, based on your markings. It is an honor to meet you all. And he'll bow his head.
As for the deep forest, well, lived on here now in a few centuries. Could tell you a thing or two.
If, please, I just wish to understand the nature of it is all. It seems, since stepping foot into this place, it has seemed a little different than where we have been prior. Hard for me to describe. I am not a high practitioner of the arcane, or a historian or scientist, so the difference is hard for me to describe, but it feels different.
Well, that's some good instincts you got, I'll say that. Well, he's right. Deep forest is a unique kind of place. You see, the veil between the plains is thin here, and specifically, City of the Dead. Every so often, folks from the City of the Dead, they find their way into this forest. Now, they don't belong here. We, Xanra motions to the 2 elves, we're supposed to send them on back to Kellenbor's realm when we find them. Folks who get over here, they ain't ready for the Green Goddess's glorious light, and they end up blind. Memories scrambled.
Goff reactively kind of looks down and puts his hand onto his beard and kind of grips it, kind of pulls a little bit tight on it. What was he saying? I was just.
He's Xanran's continuing. They say, folks who are here. Xanran looks a little kind of down about this. Well, they might have followed Eldath sometime in life, but that's why they end up here, at least. That's why they found their way to the deep forest, but might be they didn't follow her tenets, maybe did something wrong, failed in some way, and so they aren't worthy of her paradise.
Oh.
Well, listen, unless you think we're villains, just send true believers back to City of the Dead, and it's a mercy, really. You see, any of the souls who spend too long in these woods, they tend to fall into despair, become shades that forever walk these forests, and well, then we got to put them down.
Oh.
How long does it take for one to become a shade?
Depends on their strength of their faith, their belief that they'll see Eldath's green gardens. Oh, don't get me wrong, there are some who actually do escape the forest on occasion. It ain't common, but
what do you mean?
They
escape too.
They've managed to find their way out. They get to the Great Garden and beyond, and
do they harm others or do they improve?
No, I'll put it this way: if they manage to get out of the deep forest, well, we're supposed to leave them alone. See, enduring the forests alone is making their way back to Eldath's light. It's supposed to be some sort of proof of their faith, washes the slate clean of anything they might have done in life. Well, doesn't happen too often, but
question. What if they have to do it by themselves?
Well, it's rare. Usually they have some help.
Okay.
So to be helped is not to prevent them from finding her light once again.
Aye.
Good. Okay. Mm.
Listen. See any lost souls?
I'm sorry. Let him finish.
He said. Xamarin says, "See any lost souls? You let me know about it. Right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Sure.
Listen,
All right.
if you meet any, there's a reason why they didn't find an afterlife here. Why they were sent to the city of the dead, to Kellenbor.
Hmm. It is unfortunate. Though I understand that the rules of the gods and their domains are there with purpose, as cruel as they may seem to those mortals of us. To those, I said that backwards. To us mortals.
It says,
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
hello.
Oh,
No, you roboted for a second. You're good. Say it
Okay.
again.
Yikes. Zaron chuckles a bit and says, "Well, I suppose in the end, as inscrutable as the gods are, they do work through us. And we know better than them all the suffering us mortals endure."
Yes. We know it is complicated. More often than we'd like. Well, I suppose that we do understand the terrain a little better, so there may be shades, there may be souls walking about who have found their way out of the city of the dead and must return, barring rare exceptions. Now, as for, and you are here to guide them back, I must ask, if I'm to be forthright, is meeting you, speaking with you, part of my trial, or is my goal of finding the Deep Grove something I must do on my own, or on only with my friends here?
Well, I'd say that the Deep Grove should reveal itself to you in time. It's somewhere around here. But, the way to it's only revealed after... Well, it's a little difficult to explain. I ain't part of your trial, if that's what you're asking.
Okay.
How do we know that?
Can I insight check that?
Yeah,
just
make
for
an
fun.
insight check.
Just for fun, even though I already believe in. 20, 30.
30 total.
Yep. Does it seem like he's trying to pull one over? Like he's actually like manipulating me in a
fast
direction.
Let's see. How would I describe this? Hold on.
So it's not a no.
I mean, Goth's probably gonna play along or do whatever it has to be done, but I'm just curious what Goth picks up on. Oh, okay. All right. So, the Deep Grove should reveal itself to me then. But you said it's hard to describe.
Yeah, it's the circumstances, the requirements for revealing the Deep Grove tend to vary from person to person. I can't well describe it. It's something you'll just feel. You'll come to it on your own accord.
So, the way you're describing it, should I meet my own requirements, it could appear to me right now, or I could walk into these woods for days and eventually it could appear to me then. It really is quite hard to pinpoint. Okay.
But I suspect the Grove Mother has a plan.
She always does, yes. I'm trying to think about how to... I'm gonna try and ask a question.
Okay.
Should we leave this place in this pursuit of the deep grove and come across any of these lost souls? You said to tell you of them, but what is the consequence of seeing what we can do to help them before we tell you?
I wouldn't recommend helping them.
Why is that?
You a champion, follow Eldath's ways.
He would or would not recommend it.
Would not.
You're a champion, follow Eldath's ways. You gotta honor her requirements.
Fair point.
And she's deemed that these souls be returned.
With that previous insight check, if it's still going,
Mhm.
with it, when he says that, does it seem like anything about what he's saying might be like maybe he's saying that? Does he seem very like absolute in that statement, or does it seem like there's maybe more? It's not completely. Is what I'm saying make sense?
I think he's very hard to read, is what I'll say. I think
Okay.
that particular statement is, you're not going to really get anything from that.
Okay. All right. Not every choice is an easy one. That's fair.
Listen, if we're not around,
Xander looks to their companions.
then you want to see about returning some of these lost souls to the city of the dead yourself. Usually the portals are pretty easy to spot. You just gotta look for them large trees, big and gnarled looking, out of place with the rest of the forest.
Have I noticed any of those since we walked?
Give me an intelligence check to see if you recall.
9.
9. No,
9?
you didn't pass any on this.
Okay.
You know, or at least you're not aware of any.
Large gnarled trees. Okay.
Gray in color.
So you task me with should I not be able to find you to do this deed myself?
Well, it's entirely up to you. Otherwise, you can continue on your way, look for the deep grove, which is why you're really here.
Yes. All right. Well. Are there any other things you can tell me about this place, to at least to keep ourselves safe or aware?
If you hear voices calling out for help, don't listen to them. You know, only likely to drag you into the waters.
Oh, lovely.
Do they the voices come from water?
Aye.
All right. Goff just seems like he's very thoughtful. He's just kind of thinking about. I admit I'm unsure where to start with trying to find the deep grove for myself, but your guidance will be helpful.
Well, that's why we're here. Frankly, I'd like to deal with this latest batch of lost souls as quickly as I can, so I can head on back to the Great Gardens, get a little
They come
sunlight.
in batches?
Yeah, every so often we have to come in here and sweep the place, basically.
Well, okay. When other champions have come seeking the deep grove, is there a direction they should start in, or is it merely a matter of wandering about, trying to find their own rules?
I'd say you should seek some enlightenment, some answer to a question that's been plaguing you, if you have such a thing.
I have many questions plaguing me.
Well, you're in the right place for answers. Deep Grove is supposed to tell you everything you need to know about yourself.
Oh my god.
All right. Well, I suppose that unless there's any other questions my friend here have, we should get back to trying to find it then.
Just one question. You said that they go blind, that the people from the City of the Dead go blind here, but do they stay blind if they find their way into the garden?
No. If they manage to get on out of the deep forest, they get their sight back, they get their memories back. It's only while they're in here that they're muddled.
Oh. So it's like a posthumous magic justice thing?
Purgatory.
Something like that.
Don't know if
Is
there's
there
a
a
concept,
concept of
of purgatory in D&D,
I mean, that's basically the City of the Dead.
Yeah,
Like, it's just a place that's just neither good nor bad. It just is.
it's just dead people.
but it's a medium place.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Um. I'm trying to think about. I have a question I want to ask, but I'm afraid the more questions I ask like this, the more like suspicious I'm gonna seem.
Something suspicious about a big old heart of gold Goliath and his friends asking about a hypothetical person in a forest. It's fine.
Hypothetically, if I met
If
my
mom was there.
Jeez.
Just a hypothetical
just,
question.
just totally like
Just
out
ask a
there,
question
like
here.
just like out of curiosity.
asking for a friend.
What if my dead mom was here?
Asking for a friend, but what if my friend?
I just had a funny thought. Like,
Oh my
sorry.
goodness.
What if my friend's dead mom was here?
Daddy
and-
and my mommy.
and
My daddy and my
Oh my
mommy.
god.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Goff's gonna stand up, and he says, and he's like still pulling on his beard, and he says, I need to think. I think I will step out, and if I have any further questions or anything I could bring to you, I will return.
All right.
Do we
Well,
want
safe travels.
to-
What
Thank you.
what did you say, Ellen or Mel?
I was gonna ask if do you want us to come with you?
Oh,
To Goff.
to me.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm going.
Of course, if you wish. Unless you wish to stay here,
I
nothing
mean,
wrong with good company. But if
Just-
they have business to get to, we should
if
not
you
keep them for
wanted-
too long.
I wasn't sure if you wanted like quiet meditation time by yourself.
Give me a moment.
One.
That's
Wow.
not a second. I'm not playing this with you right now. And he's going to just as he says that, he's gonna just like kind of like slap his knuckle against Mito's like arm, like just acknowledging her stupid joke, but like, and then
He's like cracking up.
he's gonna walk. Goff's gonna walk to. He's gonna walk out to the gate, and he's gonna slip out and step outside.
Okay.
And he's just gonna take like a dozen steps forward. He's just gonna stand there, and he's just gonna think about. He's trying to try and deep dive into his own memories that he usually avoids. He's gonna try and remember every moment with his mom that he can.
Okay.
And he's gonna try to remember what she was like. He remembers her being disappointed, or not disappointed, being sad.
Yes.
And probably exhibiting a lot of shame, but he wants to try and remember like as many little movements, gestures, things she may have said. Just try to remember what things he can about her as a person,
Mm-hmm.
not connected to his dad, not connected to his brothers, just his mom.
Right.
His mommy.
First and foremost, you do remember the song that she would always sing. You remember it in times of great difficulty with your father and your brothers when they would hurt you, shout at you, berate you. She would, in her own way, try to offer comfort quietly, as though not to defy the will of her husband, but tending to your wounds, singing to you, calming you. She's the one who first showed you your first cerulean sunburst. It's her favorite flower.
And in remembering that stuff, like, was she ever directly responsible for any of the really shitty stuff that happened?
As far as you know, no. Although she did not step in the way. She did allow
Right.
it to happen.
Which is me.
And
as
there were
well.
times where you recall, times where maybe beaten and bloodied by your brothers, you were brought up from a cell to see your father on the High King's throne, and he would belittle you and berate you and question your status as a cragbreaker and as a man and as a Goliath. And your mother would just sort of sink into her own chair and just look very sad and look away and not say anything, but just look completely heartbroken.
I'd say with that thought, thinking about all that stuff, Goff has a realization of why she was heartbroken, because for a long time I think he thought it was a different reason. And he's just going to sit there and think about that and kind of lead into thinking about he's going to think really hard about if this is someone that can find their way out of this place. And he's also thinking about if Eldath would punish him or not for that, for trying to help her. I guess not punish. Maybe it's too harsh of a word, but he's struggling. He's really struggling with this complication.
It's a tough question.
Yeah.
One that I'd say you'd probably have to make your own conclusions on.
I know, that's why he's sitting. I'm still not sure.
Goff's having a Chidi Araganye move.
Yeah. Well, Goff is the Chidi Anagani of this group.
He really
is. Minus the PhD.
minus like
He has a PhD in God.
minus like the high level schooling and being a lot more conventionally attractive.
Why is Goff so ripped?
I mean, he's ripped. Goff is ripped. He's a fucked
When
up
he
man.
was 10, someone told him that exercise
Exercising helped
anxiety.
anxiety.
So he started doing push-ups and basically
No,
never.
he didn't exercise. He just had to survive. So
That's fair.
also he's just big, so it just happens.
But it's also, I was making funny good.
I know. So he'll just sit there and kind of be in mental turmoil for a handful of minutes, just trying to really come to the conclusion of like what he's going to do about his mom. And
What are the rest of you doing in the meantime?
yeah, if you want to do that, he's going to walk back in shortly. But
Um, I had a thought, and then I lost it.
sorry,
Dude.
No, it's okay. This happens to me all the time. Come back to me.
Okay, what are the rest of you doing? Ellen.
Are we
Ray,
out?
Mido.
Are we out with Goff, or he's asleep by himself?
That's entirely up to you.
he said you could come out with him if you wanted, but he went out by himself initially.
Okay, yeah, Ellen's gonna go with Goff. And just... Is this something we want to talk about? Maybe not here, but is this something you want to talk about?
I'm not sure that much needs to be said that isn't already apparent. I'm not sure what to do about her. The champion says one thing, but I am hopeful that maybe her fate could be better. If we can help her find her way, maybe she can be given something better. She didn't... She isn't entirely free from blame. She didn't stop things that could have been stopped, but I'm not sure that she had a very good choice in front of her. Let the pain happen to me, or bring it upon herself and me. It wouldn't save me from anything, but she would I suppose that she did not make a sacrifice in sharing the pain that I did, but I'm sure she had her own that she was bearing. Being married to my father, I don't know. She could have been better, but she was the only one who was even close to kind to me.
Oh,
And I think now, knowing this, I think she wanted to be even better to me, but Cragbreaker Society, Goliath Society on those islands was inexplicably terrible. And largely is not free from it, even now. They are getting better, which is something I would not have said could have ever happened, but then it was vile. And she was a victim of that, as such as I, but in different ways. I don't know.
I think that really is the strange thing with mortals. And
Which one of the many things?
Top 10.
how much we can change.
I don't know. I've never changed in my life.
Are you out here?
Are you outside?
Oh, I'm not. Oh, sorry.
Just say that you are like. Mido's just there now. She's like.
Mido's
mean,
inside.
potato
Mine
chips
just
and
listening.
listening.
I just spaced out. I'm sorry. I
It's okay.
didn't realize you
Yes.
guys walk alone.
Well,
Lonely road.
Tom said that like he walked outside and whoever wanted could follow.
Oh, well, I mean, Mido would have gone then. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's why we're
Fine.
like, oh, you went outside, like not like a. We didn't
Oh,
mean like you
well,
can't be
we
outside.
made a big misunderstanding
Mm.
goof.
Yeah,
Anyway,
That
she
is-
not
says
like-
that.
That is
Okay.
why, perhaps, one of the results of what the pact that was made. Yes,
it is.
we were given the choices, the ability to choose, to change, and I think that she is capable of that. And she wants to be. I don't think she's deserving to be let completely.
I think everyone should get a chance.
Yes, and if she has a chance to find her way out, I want to help her. She wasn't what she needed to be to help me,
Perhaps
and that is
not.
unfortunate. But I know what it was like to be in that place, in that family. I can't hold all of it against her.
One
She should have
never.
helped me. I know that. She should have done better. But to believe in Eldath, to follow Eldath, and still live there, I don't know. Maybe I'm just clinging to a connection that has long been lost.
Well,
Maybe I'm too blind by this hope that something could be different and I could reconnect with one part of this family that I thought had forsaken me to die. I don't. This is part of my trial. This is a fairly sick one.
Maybe it's just a really shitty coincidence.
I think
Yeah, me too.
Shut up.
I think if you consider Eldath's tenets, she's what does she decree in treatment of everybody else?
Well, it really depends on what situation you find yourself in. But it is all a general mindset of understanding and appreciating those around you, treating them with a respect that gives them an opportunity to be better.
I think you already have your answer.
I do. I very much worry that what she failed to do in her life will weigh too heavily against her. If she cannot face what she's done and still move forward, I'm worried that will not be enough. But I think I have to try.
I think either way she must move forward or go back. She can't stay here. She can't become a shade.
You're right. No, she cannot be left here to live out alone. She must either return to the city of the dead or find her way out of here to a better, a place filled with light. I just don't know how we're going to get her there. I'm not sure if I can just take her by the hand and just walk her to the boundary between the deep forest and the garden. I don't believe it would be that simple.
It never is.
Otherwise, anyone, well, I suppose not anyone, but someone with enough knowledge and perseverance could just take these lost souls by the dozens out to the gardens. This is not going to be that simple. I suppose we have to find out how determined and committed she is to finding her way to Eldath's guidance, Eldath's light.
I don't think she knows about it yet.
I know, which is going to make this a lot harder.
Well,
And if this is not part of what I must do to find the deep grove, then it's at least something to give me time to think about that. So I suppose we should probably find our way back to Xavier's home and move from there. See maybe if through conversation we can find a way to help her.
we should tell Coria.
Yes, I will. I suppose when everyone's ready, we should find our way back. And, Ellen,
Mhm.
for my mother's sake, as we leave, he says this quieter to her. Keep an eye out behind us. I don't know if it would come to this, but in case one of them trails us to see if we're hiding something, which we are, whether this be something that they know we're doing or not, just see if we're being followed.
We'll take a roundabout way. But I will,
Thank you.
of course.
And he'll just kind of gently pat her on the back. And he'll turn around and put his hand on Mito's pauldron, or whatever she's got up there on her shoulder. I don't know if Lauren might be BRB right now,
Yeah,
so maybe she's not even here. But he'll just do that, and he'll nod to Mito and walk back in.
Did anybody else stay inside?
Yeah, Cecil stayed
Yeah.
inside. And
Okay, so. Alright. So, as this has all been happening, Cecil and Harith, you've just been inside of the encampment, being handed increasingly strange pieces of jerky.
are these all from the same
Oh.
animal?
Olivan, the male elf, speaks up. He says, no, it's from whatever we find.
What's this
That
one?
one's crocodile.
Crocodile. Really? Huh. Kind of got the lighter taste than I would have expected.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Y'all eating jerky again?
What do you think? Welcome
I
back.
just got back. Thank you.
Oh, we cut to Cecil and her just chilling inside the
Oh,
encampment.
okay.
Where you
So after a bit, you see the rest of your companions come back in. Zanrin stands up to their full height and just says, well, is there anything else we can help you with?
Can I get some more of that jerky?
Of course. Got loads of it.
try the crocodile. It's pretty good.
Is it?
Huh?
Are you telling the truth?
Yeah.
Or is this a Sissel joke?
No, this isn't the Cecil
It's
joke.
not
I'm
a
eating
joke.
it right now.
All
Yeah, it's
right.
not
So
bad.
I'll take some of that, and I'll take some of the deer jerky.
Okay. All right.
Goth will say, I think I'm ready to try and find the grove myself, or at least attempt to, but if we have any other thoughts, I will get in touch with you.
Well, I'll wait for it then. Can't guarantee we'll be back here if you come across our encampment again. We're gonna have to head out hunting, looking for some lost souls or shades.
That is fine.
Comes to that.
I have a ways of communicating across distance if necessary.
All right.
But
We will definitely let you know.
I am very thankful for your help in not attacking us on sight. That is greatly appreciated.
I reckon the Grove Mother would be mighty pissed if I attacked you.
Perhaps. Though you
A
have
little
your
bit.
job to do. And if it was a shade, I wouldn't, you would have to do your duty, so.
Oh, I ain't no mistaking you for a shade. You'll know him when you see him.
Alright.
Black as tar.
I'm sure, yes.
Oh my god, it's over the garden wall.
I still
I
haven't
don't.
seen
I've
it.
never watched that, so I don't know.
I think
They stole the idea from Falk, so
They
Yeah.
stole the
They're
idea.
all just common tropes. Listen.
years in the past
I
they
know.
stole from Falk.
ah! Sorry, I got brain freeze. Ah!
Ooh.
I got worried.
It's more like spine freeze.
I think
Okay,
for now we will find our way back out into the forest, and I will try to follow whatever force it is that guides me.
Zanra nods.
Whatever question that I'm trying to answer.
Zanra nods and says, "Well, best of luck to you. I'm sure you'll find the answer you're looking for."
Goff will nod, and he'll hold up his left fist with the back of the hand facing outward with the symbol on it, kind of like in a salute kind of way.
The three of them will also show the back of their hands with the Eldath mark upon them.
And Goff will just nod, and he'll turn and say, "All right, I think back out into the woods we go."
Into the woods.
And he will go back out and head back towards the tree line, I guess.
Okay. So you make your way back across the clearing and into the tree line once more of the soggy marshes, starting to head in the direction of Xavier's cabin.
Can we go, like, roundabout?
Yeah.
So,
Why don't you
and-
give me? Here's what I want. I want Ellen to give me a stealth check and Goff to give a survival check, sort of like a combined check between the two of you, just to see if like you can cover your tracks, basically.
25.
that sounds good.
Survival 25.
Woo! 15 plus stealth. Stealth is 16. 31.
31 and 25. Okay. All right.
And then I guess, can I, like, also look behind and
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
see
You
if
can
we're
keep
being
an eye
followed?
out. So you take a very circuitous route back to Xavier's cabin, making your way through the winding marshlands and past the trees, keeping a ever vigilant eye behind you to see if anyone is trailing you. You don't get a sense that they are. Eventually, after just taking this route for a while, you do see Xavier's cabin up ahead, and as you get within range, you can smell on the breeze, the smell of baked goods, and you see, like for a moment, that Coria has actually stepped outside and is kind of because it's likely probably a little hot in there after all the baking, so she stepped outside to get some fresh air, and she sees you all starting to approach, and she gives you a wave.
Goff will raise his hand back. In greeting. Sorry.
Mhm.
And as we get closer, he'll to Corey, he'll say, "How is she?"
Oh, she seems fine. She's sad a little bit, a little awkward around company,
Yes.
but quiet mostly. Focused on what she's doing here.
Well, we have news of varying good and bad. And he'll kind of like, yeah, if you would follow me a few steps this way, and he'll just kind of turn over towards like a
Okay.
tree. It's like away from the cabin a bit.
All right, and she follows you over.
I just don't want her to hear.
Okay.
It is important that she doesn't. We found the village she speaks of. It is occupied by the champion that. Oh my God, Aaron. That was Aaron mentioned. Name is Zanrin. He is in them. He was of no trouble, quite helpful. But whether this, I don't know. This is part of my trial or my test, but you see the lost souls that she mentioned. They apparently are those that had a connection to Eldath, but were not deemed worthy of the other parts of Aronia, the places we've already visited. So they have the veil between the city of the dead, the deep forest is thinner. These souls find their way here, and they wander about trying to find Eldath's light. And I believe that your grandmother is one of them. In fact, I am quite sure, as he said, those souls go blind when they get here.
She's just kind of taking this all in. She says, "So they're just these are the faithful, and they're just left to wander." And
He said that they would might be faithful, but may have done something wrong or not followed Eldath's guidance, Eldath's tenets or creed as closely as would have been ideal.
that's just cruel.
I know, but he also said that while him and his the other two champions, they are responsible for finding the lost souls and returning them to the city of the dead. It is possible and it has happened that some find their way out of this forest to the gardens. And in so doing, they earn their right among Eldath's people. For to find their way out of this place is a challenge enough on its own to prove their dedication. So I think I want to try to get her out of here. Because if she does not leave here, she will become a shade. Some kind of creature, he said. Something harsh and violent.
Well, I'm glad that you said that you wanted to get her out of here.
I did not tell him that, but I'm telling you.
Good. Because if you didn't want to help her, and she kind of like taps her mace.
Oh man!
I know
I
I'm
like-
a fool. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm like, oh yeah, I like this kid.
He says, I know I am a fool, but do you think I am that foolish?
Well,
Yes.
if there's one thing I've learned about faith and about following a deity, that sometimes we think we're doing it for the right reasons, and following them completely on belief, even if what we know about what they ask of us is wrong. I'm not saying that that's what your goddess is doing, but this just doesn't seem right to me. Just to leave her or leave anybody.
It is exactly because of Eldath that I choose to try and go against what might otherwise be law.
I think
It is through her tenets that we try to give people a chance to be better. Why not do that here?
You're right.
And
it's also, what I gleaned from the conversation is that this is how the champions in charge of this realm interpret Eldath's will,
maybe
and that's just how it happens, because after all, how else does a god influence everything if not through mortals, through their champions? But it's up to how it's all up to how we interpret it, it seems.
Well, it seems like in the realm of a god, it's kind of hard to misinterpret it after a fashion. I mean, you just ask the source.
I know that gods, even my beloved Eldath, are not always 100% correct. She knows I know that. She knows that I doubted her when I saw what became of another story of ours that did not go so well. She knows that it made me angry. My faith in her never has faltered, but my doubt has come up now and again. Not doubt in her strength or what she wants us to bring to the world, but doubt in her decisions or what she has happened. But with the pact made with mortals, I think that she is limited in what she can do, and perhaps my mother is just a result of a system that just has fallen into place. An arrangement of the planes, an arrangement of the powers that be. I do not know what dictates worthiness. I do not know and what Aldath has set in place to make this happen, but I was a child. Everything about my family was terrible. Except, while she could have done more, she wasn't directly part of it. She didn't act when she should have, but she didn't want any of it to be happening to me either. I thought all this time the sadness that I saw in her eyes was because I was a failure to the family, but now I believe her sadness was because she wanted to help me, but she couldn't. Maybe she didn't feel that she could. She did not feel strong enough, or like it was something she could do without bringing even more problems into the situation than it already were. She was sad because she didn't know how to help, how to get out of it.
Things have always been complicated on the Isles.
Yes. Very.
Things will always be complicated anywhere.
The society in the Cragbreaker and the Goliath back then, Arcadia, was much worse.
Oh, I know.
I don't. My mother is not free from blame, but she is not responsible for the source of it all. And I think that she is a victim as much as I.
Then we have to help her. Like you said.
Yes. I've gotten as far as making this decision, but I don't know how we're going to help her. She cannot remember everything, but she is afraid. I don't know if I can just walk her to the boundary. I can just bring her to the garden. I don't know.
Why not? We have a boat.
But
We do have a boat. And you can control water.
Yes, but I fear that it may not be that simple. She may have to have overcome some sort of internal journey or acceptance or conflict before she is allowed to pass into that space without being...
We won't know until we try.
We can get her there first.
And if
Are
it
there?
comes up,
What? What did you say, Brad?
Are all of us there? Or are you guys still behind a tree?
I mean, I stepped away. Mel, you could have stepped over with us. It was just to get away from the
okay,
cabin.
Yeah.
Yeah, just away from, like, the cabin.
Yeah.
okay. We won't know until we try, and if it does come up, we can do something about it.
Can help
Can't
us,
let her
really.
face this alone.
It's worth a shot, isn't it?
I don't know what consequences will befall her if she is prematurely brought into a realm she's not supposed to be in.
Why would there be consequences? Your goddess is the goddess of peace and love and
I know.
non-violence. Why would they harm this woman?
They don't want to harm her, but they do want to return her to Kalimbor's domain. At least the champions said as much.
Well, the
They're
way
wrong. They're wrong.
that's
And if your goddess wants to return her for whatever she perceives she did, then your goddess is wrong too.
That might be.
let's do this.
Yeah. Easier to
Oh,
ask
all
for
right.
forgiveness than to ask for permission.
That's true. That's one
That
thing
is
I've
true.
always
God
said.
just
Please stop.
kind of gives one of his looks at Cecil.
Please stop telling my children that.
Hmm. I don't know what they're talking about.
But how do we do this? How do we convince her? She seems very afraid and nervous. I don't want to.
We won't know until we talk to her, right?
But how should we ask her?
I don't know. I don't.
Are you going to
She's your-
try to
she's
do
your mother,
this with her knowing about who she is, where she's come from, or without?
I feel as though knowing oneself is important. But did she say how long she's been here, or does she not know?
No, she's just said for some time. She's not really sure how long she's been here.
How long is... I don't
How
know
long
when my
she been
mother
dead?
died. Yeah, I don't actually know because she
She
died
died
after I
within the
left.
she died within the intervening 20 years that you were away from the Isle, so you don't know
So
exactly.
it hasn't
when.
been
At
like a...
least 20.
We didn't ask how long it takes for someone
At
to
most
turn.
20 years.
He said that if someone's...
that.
He said that Zanrin said if someone's falters or they lose their faith over time or they fall victim to the isolation of the wood, that they would turn into a shade. She has not turned yet, and so she is not... I don't believe she's going to turn into anything like that.
Maybe we came at the right time.
I think so. I just am not sure if she should know everything, or if she should just... If we...
Are you
Being
comfortable
devoted...
with her knowing everything?
I think for
It's not
now.
about what... It's not about whether I'm comfortable. It's about whether she is.
I think for now, we should let her know that
She's
this
in
part,
danger if she stays here, right?
yes, that she's in danger here, and that we can take her to somewhere safer.
There's this a spin on it that isn't necessarily false. Though I don't know if danger's a bit of an exaggeration, but
I would say becoming a shade for eternity is pretty dangerous.
well, no, that is dangerous. But I mean, if she was found by Zanrin and the elves, then she would be brought to the city of the dead, which isn't necessarily dangerous. But that's I'm splitting hairs, as you say.
Who says
Yes. He just shakes his head at my always with this. Okay, so we tell her, yes. We say that she was right. The village was perhaps dangerous for her, which is in a way true, and is disrupting where she wants to be. And then we try to convince her that we can try and bring her somewhere safer. Does that seem like a sound plan to everyone?
Yes.
Sounds good to me.
Maybe we'll start with the pastries.
Sure. All right. He'll look to Karia. If you're ready, I am.
Yeah. I'm ready.
Okay. He will straighten up, and then he will make his way back over to the cabin and knock to make sure that.
Well, the door is open
Oh,
because
well,
Kari just exited it.
hopefully we were talking quiet enough that she
Yeah,
couldn't hear
I mean, you
us.
were far enough away.
Okay, and then he'll knock on the door frame.
Okay.
And just to give alert that we're there.
Oh, you're back.
Yes, we have returned.
Well, you're just in time.
And as you look over at the countertop, she's arrayed this like a number of trays of sweet berry tarts.
Ooh.
Or a sort of a sweet delicacy from the Isles. They cook it in a specific way, or they bake it.
Have I had one of these before?
Yeah, you've had them as a child.
Oh, nostalgia
She would
bomb.
bake them.
Goff kind of Goff definitely has like a bit of has a moment where like he tears up a little bit when he sees them.
Aw.
Just like one of those things where you like just like see and smell something nostalgic and you're just like you just have an emotion.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They are just as they look wonderful. Thank you.
Something tells me they would have been better if I... Well, the berries that I'm used to are sweeter. Not
Oh
like
shit,
this.
she used poisonous berries.
No, you. Goff already checked. There's no poisonous
Mhm.
I
berries.
think I think she means the berries in this forest are not as
I
sweet as
know,
the
I'm
ones from when
being-
she.
I'm
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were actually like, okay.
No.
Uh,
Well,
yes, I suppose the berries from where you came from may have been sweeter. Yes.
well, we do know a place with better berries. We could take
Oh.
her there. Do you think, Golf?
Yes, we could try.
I'm not sure I understand.
Well, is it?
Is this another
About-
place in the forest?
It is a place near the forest, a ways
It
up the
is-
river. You see, Xavier, we investigated that village you spoke of, and I think you were right, for it was a dangerous place for you to approach.
Oh.
There are people there who are... They are hunters, and they may mistake you for someone unkind or wildlife, so it was perhaps best for you to stay where you are.
Oh dear.
And with such proximity to such a place, we thought that maybe we could try to get you someplace safer with a little more light.
Somewhere warmer.
Yes.
Somewhere warmer
Hmm.
with sweeter berries.
I would like that, but oh,
And she starts like wringing her hands a little bit.
oh, I don't know.
Goff will
I don't know why you should trouble yourself on account of me.
take his hands and wrap them over hers, very gently. It is. Do not worry. You remember the name I mentioned to you a little while ago.
Yes.
The one you do not remember, but for him, I think he would appreciate it if I did this for you. And it is important to me that I honor him.
Make a persuasion check.
Since Ellen interacted, can that count as like helping him?
Yeah, I'll give you that.
So what does that do for
It
me?
gives you advantage, and you get to add your little bonus.
So persuasion +5 -1 19.
19.
I'm. I just don't understand why you would go through so much trouble on my account. No one really has. Ever.
Maybe it's time someone did.
First time for everything.
Let me ask you something. I know you forget much, and you are afraid to remember. But do you remember the bits and pieces that you hold on to? Do you remember wanting to help someone?
She looks down at the ground and her like squeezes her eyes a little bit, as if she's trying to think through a thought.
I think so.
There was
I
someone
remember.
who you wanted to help, but
I was too afraid.
you were afraid, and the environment around you was dangerous.
Yes.
You grew up, you lived in a scary place. A place that did not accept you, or accept the person that you wanted to help.
I remember. I remember my husband and the despair I felt in seeing my sons turn out like him. But I always had hope with one of them.
Goff is like kind of nodding.
She see like a little tear kind of going down her face.
He Goff he takes one of the hands he had on hers and he puts it up on her face, like kind of simultaneously like cradling it and also wiping away the tear.
Mhm.
I know this now.
Okay.
The reason that you were sad was not because that son was not what you wanted to be, but because you did not know how to help.
I let him down.
Not completely.
Okay.
And I think you know, you follow Eldath. You know that a chance to be better is important. You may have let someone down before, and you may forget some things, but you want to be better. You want to be at peace and to bring it. Am I correct?
Yes.
That is all I need to know. If you do not accept our offer as simple kindness, accept it as the duty of a champion of Eldath.
She nods slowly.
I don't know why, but I don't know you that well, but I do trust your words.
That is all I ask. It is a lot, but I will make sure you don't regret that choice.
Okay. I will go with you.
If there is anything you need to bring, make sure to collect it. And if this does not work out, if where we try to bring you does not bear fruit for you, we will return you here, and we will do what we can to help you from there.
Okay. I don't have much here. Yes, you can no doubt see.
That is all right. Goth looks to Karia kind of like for a approval look, like to see if she's like, so far he's doing okay.
She's nodding to you. Xavier speaks again. She says,
I would only wish to take my carving, my shrine.
Yes, that is very important. He'll gently take it off of wherever she has it sitting,
okay,
and he will give it to her.
okay. She gently cradles the small wooden carving in her hands and just sort of runs her fingers over it.
Thank you.
At this point, Corey just sort of steps up and like places hands on her shoulders and says, what do you think? And she looks over at you, Goff, and says, when should we leave?
As soon as Xavier is ready.
Give me a moment. I'll meet you outside.
Very well. I guess I'll step outside.
Okay. Coria does the same and exits the cabin. As you see, just sort of like looking over your shoulder, you see that Xavier's sort of like knelt on the ground, cradling the small shrine, carving in her hand, and she's just sort of whispering a prayer to the Grove Mother. After probably about 5 minutes, you hear some commotion, and eventually you see Xavier sort of step out of the cabin door, kind of feeling around, just making sure that she doesn't bump into anything. Korea immediately rushes up and just grabs her arm and to guide her, and then looks toward you, Goff, for directions, basically.
Do we
He'll
want to take the
he'll
boat? Sorry, yeah.
from when we were on the river, does it seem like he can sail the other direction?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like a current or anything. It's
Okay.
pretty still water at this point.
I'm rolling a survival check to remember exactly where we came from. It's a 21.
21. You've been traveling for a few hours, so you don't have the best recollection of it. You have sort of a general direction, but you're gonna have to wait until you get to like those locales in order to see if you can continue on the path and remember it.
Okay. He'll look around and he'll say, "This wood is harder to read than what I'm used to. I know it is in this direction we came from, but the exact route will be a little bit different, I think." He'll look to Karya and Xavier specifically, but also kind of towards everyone. We must stay close together. If you hear voices calling from the water, do not approach them, no matter what. Stay near each other. Have your hand by or on someone at all times. We should find the Oceanus soon enough, and then we will find the boat, hopefully, that we took. If not, we have a backup, and we will make our way.
All right.
And I guess I'll say, if you remember any landmarks, keep an eye out for them. Otherwise, we'll move in this direction until we find the water. And he'll just kind of start moving that way, I guess.
Okay. So the boat itself is not that far off. You actually have no problem finding the boat again.
Oh.
It was more about like knowing the general direction back up the Oceanus to get back to.
Oh, is the
garden.
water all crazy here? I thought it was still like a river.
It's
going one left or
well, it's a
forward
marsh.
a bit.
So like the actual path of the river is only really noticeable by the trees that wind across the banks. It's imagine like if there was a river at some point with a riverbank and then the whole area had just been flooded.
Okay, well then I'll retcon my instructions to be more akin to that actual layout and say, don't just make sure you don't, follow the voice. I mean, the voices thing also would stay. Would just be like, once we find the boat, it'll be a little bit harder, but to find our way back. But I know generally the direction, kind of. I guess I didn't realize. I thought you were saying to get back to the boat was hard, but
no, getting back to the grove, the garden is going to be hard because it's about a few hours away.
All
We've
right.
been traveling within the marshes for a while.
All right. But once we get back to the boat, I will help Xavier get in.
Okay.
And
she takes your hand and then rests herself inside the boat. And Korea sits next to her to keep her company. And as you all pile on into the boat, and then lastly Tackle gets in on the side, and the whole boat just rocks. You manage to find a means of turning the boat around in the opposite direction in order to proceed on your journey back toward the Great Garden.
Yes.
Okay. So you're traveling in this way for quite a while, probably a couple of hours. keeping close watch, I actually want everyone to give me perception checks.
Oh,
What was
I will,
Perception.
I'll
I
use
have
my
to.
goggles so I can do
Absolutely
advantage.
nothing.
I did twice as good.
Oh, I
This
got a
isn't
natural
great.
20.
Oh,
Oh shit!
Nice!
I got a
That's
25.
First
Better than
plus
24?
12, I think. So
Damn. So 32,
30. No, 31.
31. What did Ellen get?
14 plus 10,
24.
24.
Ooh, okay. So you're continuing on this path, and Goff, give me another survival check just to make sure that you're keeping this path while everybody else is keeping watch of the general surroundings for any dangers.
27.
27. Okay, I'd say that that's enough for you to keep on the main course so that you're not diverting your path off into the marshes anywhere. Nonetheless, I would say that as you're traveling along, winding your way through these tall, dark wood trees, Hiraeth, only you notice this.
Oh.
Oh wow.
You do hear what sounds like a whisper at first, and then it's very subtle, and then it grows in intensity into this low moan in the distance. To the rest of you, you don't really make this out because it seems to just blend in with the remainder of the wildlife in the area, so you don't really kind of pick it out. But Hiraeth, you hear it. It sounds a lot closer than you'd expect, even though looking around you don't see anything.
So does it feel like it's coming from one particular spot, or does it seem like it's kind of emanating from
It's
the
like
area, like
echoing.
everywhere?
It's
Okay.
echoing,
And it's just like a kind of low groan, or like
like a
a.
moan, like a wail.
Okay. Oh, okay. Low pitched or high pitched?
Low pitched.
There's something not right. I hear something.
what?
It's hard to describe. I also don't know where it's coming from, but just be aware. I just think something's wrong.
Do you hear the? Is it?
It's
Is it
not
the
the
voice?
voice. It's like this low moan, but I don't know where it's coming from. It's hard to tell.
Is there anything, any magic trying to deceive senses
Are you
within range?
doing?
I'm doing the thing.
Yes,
There's something.
all around you.
Hiraeth, use your eyes. Now, your
Uh,
true sight.
I'll use True Sight.
Okay. As soon as you activate your true sight, you take your little eye drops out and add them to your eyes, and you blink a couple of times. And as the spell takes hold, you look around yourself, and there are these black floating shapes in the air.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Uh oh. At the same time, Hiraeth is doing that after Ellen says to Hiraeth use her eyes. Goff is gonna pull out the lantern revealing and hold it up.
Okay. And as
That
you hold
that reveals that should show invisible things right within a certain
With-
range.
what's the radius? Do you know?
Within
I
the
think it is shedding bright light in a 30-foot radius and a dim light for additional 30 feet.
As
Invisible
soon as
creatures
you-
and objects are visible as long as they're in the lantern's bright light. So up to 30 feet they can be seen invisible.
So within the 30-foot radius around you, as you pull the lantern of revealing out and illuminate the murky, misty surroundings, these humanoid, dark figures, almost like smoke, are just hovering in the air around you, all over the place, and they seem to be rising up out of the water.
What the fuck?
Great.
Are they like directed towards us, or are they just kind of in general like all over the place? Like, is it seem like they're focused on us?
It doesn't seem like they're focused on you yet. They seem to be kind of just sort of meandering about, floating here and there.
If I look around, I mean, I don't think I have a spell for this, but do they seem to be undead?
Give me a religion check.
Well, 17.
Yeah, they seem like wraiths.
which count as undead.
Yes.
Okay.
Very similar to wraiths, maybe not entirely. They don't seem to have noticed you yet.
Everyone be very quiet.
Are you
And-
continuing to pilot the boat?
Yes, and he's just trying to be, and he'll lean towards Xavier, who I'm assuming is close to him,
Yeah.
and just say, there's a little bit of. Let me start over. I'm trying to think of how to word this in a way that's like gentle for a person who's probably going to be scared.
We are approaching turbulence.
Please fasten
There is
your seatbelt.
There are some creatures about. We are trying to be to move through them very gently. Do not be alarmed. You will be all right. And he then hands. He says, and he gives the lantern to Karia.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "Here, just keep this lit. Like, if you could."
She nods wordlessly to you and seems to like hold her breath a little bit as she holds the lantern up and keeps it at hand so she can see these nearby creatures.
Do I see any gray trees around?
Gray trees. Give me a investigation check.
Okie doke. 13 plus 50 plus 14 is 27.
You do not.
Okay.
And Goff's gonna just keep piloting the boat in the direction.
Okay.
Keep an eye out
So
for.
I want stealth checks all around.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Mostly related to sound-based stealth checks. So if
Sound.
Ah! Ah!
Yeah, mine's bad.
Well, no,
Sorry.
I got rid of the advantage or disadvantage. So
Woo!
That's right. We got you those things.
wait, why is it rolling with disadvantage still?
Oh no, tackle!
Tackle.
If you don't,
behind.
Oh, okay.
No,
Just
no, never mind.
I forgot to turn the thing off. Apparently, just ignore that.
it's a 15 for
It's a 15.
Play-Doh.
Okay.
Goff is an 18.
19 plus 16 is
Okay.
I don't even think Elle needs to roll. I think we all know that you pass it.
Okay, so 9, tackle got a natural 1.
6, 9, 4.
Okay. So as you're continuing to very slowly move the oars as you're making your way through the water, nervously treading the river's path as these smoke-like beings waft in and out of view, and occasionally some of them getting very near your boats, and you can see these horrible visages, these within the smoke. Occasionally the smoke warps and shifts and takes on the form of a face that looks like a skull with these glowing yellow eyes, before the smoke again just sort of dissipates and it becomes this cloud of vaguely humanoid shape again. As you're all making your way through and trying to be as quiet as possible, holding your breath where necessary. As you're doing this, tackle nervously like shifts from one paw to the other, rocking the boat. And it's at that moment that you see just, as 3 of them turn in Tackle's direction and begin floating toward him.
How fast are they floating?
They are floating
65.
pretty fast.
How many of these things are within 30 feet of us? Or of
So
me?
on top of these things, so this is what I'll say. As you're doing this, the 3 that are coming in a tackle, there's probably maybe a good like dozen or so more that are within 30 feet of you. But you're noticing also as you're piloting this boat around and the lantern that Karia is holding just continues to illuminate further and further up the path, you're seeing more and more of them. Like the ones behind you are disappearing as they get out of view. Obviously, Hiraeth, you see all of them. They're just like all over the place. There's probably more than 30 of these things just floating above the river.
I cover Tackle with my wings and try and calm him down.
Who can pilot this boat?
Can I pilot the boat?
Yes, you can.
My Goff will make room for Mito to sit at the spot wherever it is. Goff is going to cast. He's going to he's going to nod to Mito, like in a like you got this sort of way, and then he's going to cast protection from evil and good on Xavia.
Okay.
So he's going to put that on her. Oh wait, no.
What?
Oh?
He's not going to do that yet.
Okay.
He's going to, because it's a concentration, and I need to hold on. He's going to keep the boat moving. And he is going to take a step over the back of the boat and step onto the water.
Okay.
Which he can do because he has a water walking ring.
Okay. Yep. So you step out onto the water.
And
are you being quiet about this, or are you just like?
He is doing it gently, but without whatever stealth check he had, I don't know if he's.
So that was
18.
18. Okay. All right. Yeah, they haven't noticed you. They're all just beelining for Tackle at this point. You see 3 of them just zooming in toward him.
He's going to use thaumaturgy.
Oh.
And he's going to snap his fingers as loud and make it louder.
Okay.
To draw all the attention onto him.
Oh. Okay. So as you snap your finger, you're wearing gauntlets, right?
No, I do not wear the gauntlets.
Okay.
I mean, I have bracers. I don't wear gauntlets.
Okay. So as you snap your finger and it echoes across the otherwise quiet marshes, the 3 that were going toward Tackle immediately turn toward you. At the same time, you see all of these, at least the ones that are within range of Coria's lantern, probably a dozen or so, all shift their billowy, smoky forms in your direction.
You've alerted the horde.
At the same time as you do this, you look down at the water's surface, and you see there are shapes moving in the water below you. And the water starts bubbling like some hot spring, essentially, but it looks like this black tar bubbling up.
Does it seem like the stuff below the surface is also undead element or presence?
Yep.
Okay.
So what happens is, to describe this scene, this kind of black tar substance starts rising up out of the water, and it just stinks. It's like the entire place stinks like sulfur. And as this happens, you see these forms similar to the smoky forms just start rising up out of the water, just composed of this tar, and they start trying to claw at you. As they surround you. What do you do?
I am going to first. I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to cast Control Water.
Oh, okay.
I will like it, because I always imagine that this is like kind of like a bender thing. Goff he will sturdy himself and rearrange his positioning of his feet, and he will cast Control Water and light up like a Christmas tree, and then he will start moving his hands like he's pulling the water, and he is going to redirect flow and pull the water up, basically like making like a mountain of like a hill of water that's going up.
Okay. So as you're doing this, you're just sort of like pulling this black tar away as well? Like
I'm trying to. I mean, if it pulls me away from the black tar or whatever's in it, that would help. But regardless, he's pulling the water up, whether it pulls away from the tar or not.
Yeah. So I will say, like, you pull the water up and create this like wall of water, and it also pulls away that tar from your feet, washing away the number of beings that had risen up out of the water, and now you just see them half submerged in this wall of water. clawing toward you furiously, and they seem to trying to pull themselves out of the water. To get
As I'm doing all this, are the ones that were in front of the party and the boat, are they also moving towards me past them?
Let's see. Yes, actually.
So I'm basically what I'm doing here is I'm going to try and buy time, and as soon as it seems like they are clear of this mass, or rather, I know Horace can see it, so he's gonna at this point he's trying to get as much attention, so him being loud does not matter to him.
Right.
He's gonna say, or rather, okay, as he's doing the control water, he's gonna use the earring instead. I'm trying to think how he's gonna say, Horace, when you are clear, you tell me.
All right.
And he's going to keep this going and try to get as many of them as close to him as he can.
Okay. I will say at this point that maybe 6 of them reach you and each try to put hands on you.
I will try to. I don't know if using the redirect water will help me get away from them. I'm trying to use it to evade them, but I don't know if that is allowed. I don't know.
I'm going to say they're going to be able to at least get attacks off on you. Whether they hit or not is another matter, but they're going to be 6 of these wraiths who are going to use their life drain attack on you.
Okay.
So that's a 20 to hit.
Yep.
24.
Yep.
10.
Nope.
19.
Nope. Wait. Actually, wait a minute. I think it might be 19. This might be the AC.
With your shield?
With my shield.
Ooh.
I haven't got my armor class upgraded in a very long time. I upgraded it way back and it has not gone up since. Anyway, 19 does hit. So
okay, a natural 1 and another 19. So 4 of those hit you.
Okay.
So first hit is 23 points of necrotic damage.
Ouch.
Second is 16 points of necrotic damage. Third is 21 points of necrotic damage. And the final one is 32 points of necrotic damage.
Oh, yikes.
And I need you to make, for each of those attacks, I need you to make a constitution saving throw for me.
Oh, God. Okay. Con plus 4. So I will just type out the numbers I get.
Yes, please. You're also going to need to do. You're also going to need to do concentration checks for the control water for all 4 of those.
Okay.
I will give you the DC, but this is part of the attack still, so I need those 4 cons saved for. So that first is a save.
And I wanted. Okay, this is not going how I was going to try and describe it, but all right, it's probably going to fall to pieces. Okay. Those are my saves for the cons.
So the first was a failure. The other 3 are successes. So the first one, which is a 23 hit point attack, also reduces your max HP by 23 HP.
Okay.
So now I also need. I'm gonna need you to do con saves to keep your concentration. I will write in chat what the DCs for the 4 con saves are. So that's gonna be an 11, a 10, another 10, and a 15. So those are the targets to meet.
24.
Good.
24 again. That's 2 natural 20s. Wow, what a place to have them, huh?
Yep.
19.
You're good.
17.
You're good. Okay,
Nice.
so you
Wow,
maintain
that was
control of
incredible dice luck.
Wow.
So Goff is
Okay,
like.
now what do you want to do?
So now, I'm assuming how many more are within 30 feet of me besides the ones that just fucked up and fucked me up?
I would say another. So aside from the ones that came out of the water, the tar ones, so that you have those 6 that have just surrounded you, you have another 6 that you can see that are coming within range. The boat is slowly making its way out of range to the point where you're going to start losing visibility as the lantern passes out of range of them.
Okay.
And you don't know how many others.
So how many are? So how many?
Hiraeth, sorry, Hiraeth, you actually see, like, there's a good, like, 20 or so of these things all closing in on Goff within a 30-foot radius.
Okay. I will call out. Goff, you need to watch out. They're all around you. They're coming.
Goff is like, at this point, he's gotten slashed a bunch, and he's like getting
Can you
pulled
turn
on, and he's just like, "Ugh, good. And I'm gonna use turn undead now. this is all meant to turn undead. This is all I was trying to lead them all into one
What is
big
it?
thing. What's that?
What's the DC?
It's just my cleric DC, right?
Yep.
So that's, I think it's 18. Let me check.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 18. So they have to
They have to beat that.
wisdom saving throw. If
Right.
it fails, it's turned, or it tail and takes any damage. Turn for 1 minute. But I also get the destroy undead thing,
What's
which
the CR on that?
at this level, CR 3 or lower. They're probably higher than that based on the damage they're doing to me.
Yeah,
but-
they are higher than that.
So they can only get turned.
Okay.
If anything is CR 3 or lower, they get instantly destroyed.
Okay.
And so I'm gonna do that, and as soon as I finish doing that, I'm going to continue controlling water if I can to just push myself back towards the direction of the party.
Okay.
I'm gonna basically be surfing on it.
So
Essentially,
that was
is what I'm
DC
doing.
18, you said.
Yes, wisdom save.
So of the 20 that were surrounding you, only 6 of them succeeded. So
Okay,
the other
good odds.
14 of them, Hiraeth, you watch as 14 of these smoke-like beings immediately just hold their heads in agony and start floating out at about 60 feet a clip in an opposite direction.
You got most of them, but there's still a few. Wait, I'm looking at a. I have to touch for this one. Okay, I want to is Goff like? How far away is Goff from where I'm standing on this boat? How big's the boat?
Probably 30 feet at this point, just at the edge of the range
Is it
of
possible for me to
the
like?
lantern.
Is it possible for me to like run up and like tap him on the shoulder and cast a spell on him?
If you want to meet each other in like the middle, it's difficult terrain because
Goff is
water.
Right.
Goff is currently like higher above the surface of the water because he's basically surfing on the water that he raised up.
So yeah,
So
I'd
he's
say Goff
high
could
up.
I'd say Goff at this point could like use some movement to get.
Goff is that's what I was gonna say. He's gonna move the water towards the boat,
Okay.
which will, I think, based on how this works, it will move him away from where he was. It also should push the boat farther forward faster because it's like water redirecting in that direction, and he's just on like a wave of it.
Yeah, if we
So-
can't work out me getting within touch range, it's fine. I was just gonna do something to help you out.
Sorry, I just had a cool
That's
idea, and I basically
yeah.
just grabbed like the camera for this one.
No,
I was like,
I just should have done it before you. did
no,
that,
it's
but
okay. I should
fine.
have told you what I was gonna do. I just was like, oh man, you know, it'd be really cool if I did
So
this
as
like
you're-
this turn on dead bomb thing.
So as you're speeding back with your control water, just sort of like surfboarding along the water back toward the boat, I'm gonna say as you're passing them by, 2 more are gonna get attacks of opportunity on you. That is a 13 to hit.
Nope.
And another 13 to hit. So neither of them hit you. You just manage to duck right under them as they both swing their smoky arms toward you, and manage to get away from them and right back up onto the boat. So as the boat is continuing to speed away
I'm in the
from
boat.
this-
I'm on the boat now.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I'll get back on the boat, and he'll be like panting a little bit, and he looks a little bit hurt, but he'll keep the control water going, and he will make the boat continue to move
All right.
more quickly in that direction, and he'll keep looking. He'll keep looking behind, but he'll say, "Just let me know if any of keeping pursuit."
As you're saying this, however, you immediately turn around to just continue seeing where you're going. And Mito, since you're the one steering the boat at this point, you look ahead and you see these little pockets of tar starting to bubble up out of the water in front of you.
Oh,
I
shit.
need you to make acrobatics checks in order to dodge around them with the boat.
Shit,
Okay.
my bad. Sorry, I made you drive the boat.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
Unfortunately, your reflexes are not.
Can I like help with that at all since I'm redirecting the water?
You're redirecting the water from the back of the boat. I'd say because of the fact that you do have like a good like focus of control here, like because you can control water with like a very large area.
Yeah, like 100 feet
100
square.
feet. So I'd say give me a. I want to say give me a perception check just to see if you notice this, because this is happening super fast.
23.
Okay, yeah, I'd say your reflexes are good enough that like you notice this coming up. And if anybody else wants to chip in, so you're not just like all along for the ride here, you can do stuff as well.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've been like doing too much shit by myself.
But
If,
what? How do you want to help in this situation?
I mean, if any wraiths start coming too close, I want to try and pick them off with like a firebolt.
Okay. Goff, how are you using the water in this situation?
I'm probably gonna raise it up to try and negate some of the tar that's bubbling up. Like try to like put us above it, or at least
Okay.
disrupt it. So the boat will maybe be like a high, not as high as I had it before, but like a few feet at least above the surface, so that we're kind of riding on a wider, smaller wave, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just to try and disrupt what these race and this tar is trying to do,
Okay.
and just trying to give us more safety, I guess.
Okay. As you're speeding along and forcing the boat further on, these these tar-like beings start coming up out of the water again, and your control water does manage to stop a bunch of them, but unfortunately, because Mito was not as quick with her reflexes, a couple of them do manage to get through, and they're going to make attacks on her. So that's a 10 to hit and a 16 to hit. So neither of those hit you. They just sort of scrape off the side of your armor, Mito, and you cruise right past them. You're seeing a break in the trees up ahead, Hiraeth, whether you're not seeing any more of these wraiths. I'd say at this point you've all gotten past the majority of the danger at this point. They're continuing to try to follow you, and indeed as you come out of range, Goff, of that 100 feet, eventually, like your power over that water fades, and the tar.
Well, it keeps going if I keep concentration, so I can reposition it if I want.
Right, but you're not going to be within range of that specific area where the tar is.
Oh, okay.
So that comes crashing to the ground, and the tar seems to be trying to follow you through the water, but it doesn't seem to be able to keep up with the fact that you're basically pushing this boat along at an extra clip, right? Like how fast can you move this?
It just says you cause flowing water in an area to move in a direction you choose, even if the water has to flow over obstacles, up walls, or other unlikely directions. The water in the area moves as you direct it, but once it moves beyond the spell's area, it resumes its flow based on the terrain conditions. The water continues to move in the direction you choose. There was some way we figured this out before when I was doing it with the boat back in the ocean, but I don't remember. You figured out an amount that it sped it up by.
I'm gonna say that it's probably fast enough to get you without to safety. So after continuing this way for probably a couple of minutes, putting some distance between your selves and the tar creatures and the smoky beings, the shades of this forest, you slow the boat down and you manage to breathe a sigh of relief. Xavier is clinging to Coria for dear life. At this point, she is shaking. But you seem to have managed to get past the danger.
Forgive me, I did not want them coming to the boat. I know that what I did was a stupid thing to do. He's kind of panting and like bracing himself against the side of the boat.
Yeah, you're covered, by the way, in this like sludge, like your armor and stuff. It's just covered in like this black garbage.
The HP loss, the max HP loss, is that something I can greater restored? Have I done this before?
Let me look up. So it says.
Is this the same thing that happened with Ellen?
Yes.
How she died?
Yes. So this reduction lasts until the target finishes a long rest. I think if greater restoration, I think specifically calls out any reduction to ability scores and one effect reducing the target's hit point maximum. So you can use.
So that okay. So Goff's gonna kind of be trying to just catch his breath and kind of recognizing the symptom from something that happened to, I think you said Ellen had it happen before.
Ellen, this is when you were fighting the Hanged King.
Right. He'll kind of look at examine where the scratch happened, and he'll think, and he'll be like, okay, I know how to do this. So he'll cast Great Restoration on himself to get the hit point maximum back up.
Okay. All right.
So I will change that back. Very scary.
Very scary.
And he'll look to Xavier and say, I'm sorry. There are, unfortunately, dangerous creatures in the deep forest that we came upon many of them. But I think we are okay now.
I'm not sure this was a good idea.
It'll be all right. I made you a promise. Do not worry.
I suppose there's no turning back now.
Not that way, at least. No. And he looks to Karya, and he just kind of gives her a nod, like, well, like, thank you, well done, sort of, you know.
Sure. As she nods to you, and wordlessly just continues to try to comfort Xavier. And as you're speeding away from the scene and making your way, continuing down the river Oceanus back to the garden, you do still hear the faint whispers and the wails on the wind from those creatures that you had just escaped. And there's this halting, gurgling speech that they seem to be speaking. Very hard to decipher, but as they seem to be repeating the same sounds over and over, eventually you make out the words, "Help me, please help me."
Is that all of us hear that?
That's nice.
Remember, and after we're like, it's been kind of listening to it for a little bit, Goff will just say, remember what I said. Do not listen to the voices.
You're
say so.
continuing down the river with Mito now piloting the boat for another couple of hours. Goff, give me another survival check as you continue to try to pilot
the speed would have gone the speed would have gone back to normal after a while because control water only lasts 10 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Give me another survival check to determine where you're going.
24.
24, good gravy.
I mean, it's one of my good ones.
Yeah,
as long as I roll, it's a plus 10 to so.
You're continuing down the ocean in this way, or the river in this way, seemingly continuing on the lookout for obstacles or any further shades. You're not seeing any. After a couple of more hours, you see a break in the trees up ahead, and you see sunlight beginning to pour through. And indeed, beyond you can see.
Sorry, I'm taking a healing potion. Keep going.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you want to, like, you're basically resting in this boat, right? You can use.
Can I just hit
take
dice?
a short rest and use your hit dice. Yeah.
All right, I'll just do that. Anyway, I don't want to interrupt your narration. I was just thinking about it.
Yeah. So indeed,
I won't take the potion. I'll do the short rest.
Okay. As you're looking forward, you can actually see the golden yellow fields of the great gardens beyond. You are almost out.
Okay.
Probably another 500 feet or so until the edge of the forest meets the bountiful woodlands and then into the golden meadows out into the great garden. But as you're making your way forward, with the end seemingly in sight, you kind of slow the boat down a little bit to guide your way around some pathways in the trees. And that's when, from above, you just hear this voice call out to you from the tree branches above. You just hear, "Well, now, champion, I didn't expect this."
Is it?
You look up at the branches, and just reclining in one of the branches, just with their hands behind their head, you see Xanran.
Busted.
Oops. What did you expect?
I don't really know. I expected you to follow Eldath's law, I suppose.
I've never been good at following laws.
Come now, you really gonna defy the Grove Mother's will?
You can understand Christmas as well.
Mido, please.
At this point, you see coming from around two of the trees, Olivin and Jothana, the two elf siblings, stepping out from behind the nearby tree cover. Not their bows in hand, but not drawn on you. And you see at this point, Zanran hops off of the tree branch and drops down onto the river. And in fact, he stands on the river's surface, right in the front of your boat.
Fancy.
If I Goff, out of a compulsion from his player to feel cool, will step out of the boat and stay on the water in front of him.
Fucking flex.
God.
That's just a compulsion I have that I need to just I don't know how to
We all
justify
know
it.
Goff's a drama king.
He
He's-
dropped Goff is a
That's
drama.
a messy bitch who lives for drama.
Goff is a drama king who genuinely doesn't realize how of a drama king he actually is.
I
He
love
just-
that about him.
He just does things. He doesn't think about how cool they're gonna be. He just does things because he's So he'll stand in front of him.
Okay. Zanran looks way up at you. You are probably about 4 or 5 times as tall as they are. But they seem unfazed by.
I'm not trying to intimidate him. I'm just meeting him in the just for clarification.
Zanran sort of shoves their hands in their pockets and looks up at you and says, "Well, I reckon I'm surprised. What's your reasoning here, champ?"
It is exactly because of Eldath that I am making this decision.
You know what this one did?
I am aware of some things she has done or not done.
You know, the Grove Mother teaches peace. But there's a fine line between peace and cowardice. This one was a coward. She claimed to follow the Grove Mother's tenets, and what'd she do? She didn't stand up for the weak. She didn't defend those who needed help. She only cared about herself.
That's not true.
That's wrong. The last part. That is not correct.
And doesn't she deserve the right to try again? I think we all do.
She had plenty of chances in life, did she not?
No. It was not that easy. I saw it. I was there. Is not stepping in, siding with the conflict, siding with the oppressor or those that cause harm. In some way, yes, many times. But what other choice did she have? She was a coward, but I do not hold all of it against her.
You had a choice. You stood
What-
up.
what- I was not a mother. I was a son outcast with nothing left to lose. She had much more to lose than I.
You're really set on this? You're gonna defy the will of your own goddess, one who kept you safe your whole life, kept the faith, is now offering you a chance to save this whole world. You're gonna just turn your back on that? You're willing to? You see Zanran look toward Olivin and Jothana again. You willing to take this as far as it needs to go?
Goff's gonna sit there and just kind of stand still for a bit without saying anything. And he's going to then slowly get on a knee and then sit down and this is like usual kind of position he sits in when he's like trying to meditate or think with his hands on his knees. And he's just so he just kind of goes into a more relaxed position. He's going to say, I think with all the time you might have spent in life and all the centuries you've spent here as a champion, you would be a little more, I don't know, I suppose I'm disappointed. It is exactly because of Eldath that I act in this way, for Eldath was the one who gave me many chances. Through her other follower, Liza Azur, and through her own grace have I been given more than a second chance. In a way, I was a coward who ran and got myself killed, and have made many foolish mistakes. One I've just made here today, almost got myself killed again. I am given many, many chances, and through her tenets and through the life she has given me, I have come to understand that one who is willing to change, who wants to be better, must be given that opportunity. When you are surrounded by the things that her and I were surrounded by, a chance to change is a death sentence. It is hard at that point when you have children and you have so much time spent thinking about it as you build it up in your mind. It is hard to make a decision so easily. Oh, I will throw it all away because my goddess says I must. Eldath is a benevolent being. She is truly a graceful deity, and I owe everything to her. But she is not always right. She knows I know this.
So that's your final answer.
I believe my mother has a chance to become what she always wanted to be, and I must give that to her. She was the only connection, whether I knew it or not, I ever had to someone that could help me, and she may have not helped me when I needed it, but if I can forgive her, then so can my goddess.
He, let's see. Let me just do a roll. Okay. Zanrin looks thoughtful. They breathe a long, deep sigh. All right. That's your decision. And you see them, as you're continuing to kneel there meditating on the ground, they walk past you and they put a hand on your shoulder. And then they approach the boat. And you see, looking back, Coria looking very tense, holding a grip on Xavia's arm as Zanrin approaches. Zanrin looks all of you, Blue Hearts, up and down, and then looks to Coria and then to Xavia. He looks to Xavia and Zanrin just smiles. All right, darling. Reckon we better get you to the garden.
Talk about tension, Jesus Christ.
So we basically went through all the persuasion checks, right?
Zanrin walks back over to you, Goff, and they put a hand on your shoulder again. Well, suppose you passed the trial then.
Knew it.
Oh.
I knew it.
Paragon.
His Falk didn't say no. So I was like,
There's always a conflict between what's required and what's right. And you understand that.
Very well.
And even
I
if you
understand it
defy
very
the Grove Mother's wishes, and Zanrin kind of moves around to face you, face to face, and they take a finger and kind of point at your chest and say, "What you've shown today is love, and your love is Goddess's love working through you."
Yes.
That was the point of this trial. We can take her the rest of the way if you want. You can say goodbye. But the way of the deep grove is open to you.
And you see Zanrin hold up a hand and snap his finger, or their finger, and you see you hear an echo of the snap just echo out through the marshlands. And then, very faintly, off to your right, in the periphery of your vision, you see this faint white-blue glow that starts out very subtle and then grows in intensity. And as you turn your head toward it, you see this radiant white-blue glow just piercing through the tree line, beckoning you. At that point, Zanrin steps aside.
I'll let you make that decision.
Wait, what decision?
To go
Okay.
straight there. Or...
Whether to
Oh,
see Xavier off yourself or to allow the other champions to bring her the rest of the way.
well, I can say. I mean, I can still say something to her right now, couldn't I?
Yeah. Yep.
Is he saying like I'm going to forfeit the ability to go into the True Grove if I do that? If I
No,
see
no,
her
no,
off?
no, no,
Oh.
no.
I think it is important that I see her the rest of the way.
Very
I
well.
did tell her I would take her here.
Well, I'll let you get to it.
And Zanrin nods to their companions, the two elves, who smile and nod toward the rest of you and step aside as well.
Goff will nod to all of them respectfully, and so they're basically like letting us continue the boat journey.
Yep.
Is basically
Mhm.
what. Okay, and he'll nod to all of them and kind of do the little salute thing again.
They do the same.
And he'll just say, my thanks for being another to guide me along this path.
You got it yourself. You stayed true to your heart, what you believed in. That's a true champion.
He'll nod and he'll get back into the boat.
As they start making their way back through the forests back to their outposts, you are free to continue toward the gardens.
Was that conversation like loud enough that like that she could hear it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Goff's not really going to be sure how to say anything about that, but he'll sit there and just kind of in thoughtful silence, and he'll keep glancing at her. What is she? Is she just kind of sitting there, like not like thinking, or like?
Yeah. She's looking down at her feet in the boat and just seems thoughtful. Her eyes still
Alright.
closed.
I forgot to ask him a question. Shit. Can I ask him a question in the middle of that conversation?
What do you want to ask?
I just wanted to ask if her memory loss is part of the. He said the blindness was part of it, but the memory loss
the
was.
blindness and the memory loss was all part of it. The
I
memory
didn't hear
loss
the memory.
scrambled them a little bit.
Oh,
when they
okay.
got
All
here.
right. Okay. That's all right. Then he won't say anything. He'll just keep, because I don't think we're that far from the garden at this point, so he'll just be quiet. I think.
Yeah. Okay.
For the rest of the boat journey, at least.
Yeah, it's not that much further. You're only about 500 feet from the line of the deep forest, and as you take the boat around the bends and make your way out from the marshlands into the autumnal trees of the bountiful woodlands, with the sunlight breaking the canopy, you see Xavier look up toward the warmth that's coming through the tree line. And as the warmth hits her cheeks and she smiles, and ever so slowly you see her open her eyes. And as her eyes come into focus, she looks up and around at the wonders before her, and then she turns to you, Goff. And there are just tears in her eyes. And she reaches out for your hands.
Mom stuff always gets me. I'm sorry. He'll give her his hands, and he still has the mask on, so he's just.
I know it's you. I've always known, I suppose.
I didn't hide it very well.
I knew you'd come one day.
You thought I lived. After all that.
I knew. I knew that you believed as I in her boundless grace and that she would protect you.
She did. Very much.
In a way, she was the mother to you that I could not be.
Maybe so. But I know now. I now know what you wanted to be.
I am so sorry. All those years.
He'll just he'll take the mask off and he'll just give her a big hug.
She returns the hug and pulls away from you a little bit and takes her hands and just runs them along your face and just smiles.
Goff will his mouth will kind of waver a bit, and then he'll kind of return the smile. You can't really tell anyway because of all his beard, but all this time I thought you were sad because I wasn't what my father wanted, but now it took me this long. I'm such a fool. I didn't know why.
Your father.
But I was the one letting you down.
No. You could never let me down. Your father was a cruel man. But he too was a victim of his own ways and the ways of our society and of his father and grandfather before him. But you broke all that. You escaped. You lived free. You found your own path. That's all I ever wanted.
I did. And I found a new family, and he'll gesture to everyone else in the boat.
I wave.
What a fine family it is.
And there's someone in the boat you should meet.
Yes.
Oh, yeah?
Arcadia.
Your granddaughter.
Yes.
She turns to Coria and just smiles, and you see these tears streaking down her face, and Coria takes her hands and the two of them embrace.
Believe it or not, Drac brought something good into this world.
Oh, that boy.
He's doing better.
Keep him on that path.
I aim to.
You alone. The two of you. You are the future. The hope.
Is she talking about me and Kari or me and Drac?
You and Coria.
Okay, I was confused for a second. Okay. The islands are better now. I wish you could see them. They're moving along quite well.
wish I could too. And I wish I could see you more, but my time on that plane is past.
I always remember that song, you know. That's how I knew it was you right away.
I'm glad.
He'll just kind of keep holding her hands and look down and just not. I don't know. I'm not sure what else to say right now.
As you travel for a bit further, I'd say down the river back into the woodlands. And after a while, you see some people on the shoreline. Looking over, you see a small gathering has arrived. Apparently, Zanran called ahead.
Oh.
No.
You see Aaron and some of the other farmhands who you've met, and they receive you with nods of respect and smiles and help you moor the boat as they assist Xavier in disembarking.
Goff will get out of the boat with her as well.
Okay. And Corey does as well. Xavier squeezes your hands again, Goff, and here. And she takes the small carving of Eldath's symbol, and she hands it to you.
I could never give you much in life, but I want you to have this.
He'll gently wrap his fingers around it and just kind of nod.
Know that
I will
it
never
is-
I will never lose it.
Know that it is filled with my pride and my love for you.
Thank you.
And she embraces you once more.
He'll return it. And he'll say, after we go to the Deep Grove, or the True Grove, I won't be back for a while, but I will come back and see you.
I look forward to it.
There's much we have left to do, but hopefully it will work out.
I know it
And we
will.
we can catch up more than just a few minutes.
I know you will succeed in whatever you set yourself to.
And he just keeps hugging her for a while, and probably crying the whole time.
Mm.
And she moves away from you after a while and just sort of uses her finger to wipe the tears away from your cheeks.
Says, go.
And does she still have that that crown of
Yeah.
sunbursts?
Mhm.
He'll say, I will. And I'll continue to make you proud, I swear. And he'll hold his hand out and he'll cast Druidcraft and he'll make a sunburst. And he'll just put it into the crown on top of it.
She bows her head to allow you to do so and smiles.
I never forgot this. I always use this as a symbol of home and love. You weren't able to protect me as much as you wanted, but other than the Grove Mother, you were the first to show me love and kindness in your own way. I am here today because of you, just as much.
She nods quietly to you.
And all the time we lost, we'll get it back. Here. Wherever you may end up in her domain, I will find you again.
Then I will wait for that moment.
He'll just nod. He'll give her one more hug.
She hugs you back.
All right. Until that time comes, I will be thinking of you.
I will always think of you.
And he'll just kind of do that thing where, like, when you're holding someone's hand and you kind of step away and kind of you kind of keep holding and then you let it go.
Yeah.
After a little bit, like, he'll do that and step backwards. And
Okay. Corey
he definitely
pats you on the shoulder.
he definitely looks like he's like all shaken, but like not in a terrible way, like in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little bit uneven, kind of walking weird, but it's mostly just because he's like, this is a lot.
Right.
And he'll just kind of slowly, still a little bit awkwardly, because that's just the way he is. He'll kind of turn away and make his way back to the boat.
Okay. You get back into the boat, turn it around, and head your way back into the deep forest.
He'll
And
just wave. He'll wave to everyone.
Yeah.
As
you
they start to embark, whatever.
Yeah. As you head back, you turn around and you see Xavier and Aaron and all the other members of the Great Garden waving to you and wishing you a good journey. And you head back into the deep forest where the glow of the deep grove awaits you. What do you wish to do?
Get to a point where we can, like, shore up next to the glow and go towards it, I guess. It's off to the side, right?
Yeah, it's off in the
So I guess we would just find a place closest to where the glow seems to be happening and just try and get the boat hooked up there and walk towards it.
All right. So as you make your way through the forests, this white-blue glow cutting its way through the dark, winding trees, hailing you toward your destination. And you push forward, and as the glow pulses against the canopy above you, you grow closer. And you hear the sound of water, like drops falling into a still pond. And at last, you come to a ring of pine trees, similar to the true grove, but these ones are formed of a dark black-purple wood.
Oh.
Within it, the glow is at its strongest. And Coria looks over to you, Goff, and holds out a hand toward you. You can see that she's nervous.
He'll take her hand swiftly.
Okay.
And he'll gently squeeze it, and he'll just say, "This is your last chance.
I'm
If
not going anywhere.
If you are not ready for what you might see."
Traveled this journey with you. I'm going to see it to the end.
Good. I do not know what we will learn, but I hope for both of us it is good.
As you squeeze between the thick pine trees, all of you making your way into the center of the grove, before you behold a calm pond that gives off an effulgent white-blue light, like moonlight striking a still lake. And as you watch, you see drops of water that seem to rise upward out of the pond, like raining in reverse, and into the tree canopy above. Coria lets go of your hand and looks at you and says, "Well?"
Shall we approach it together or one at a time?
Go
go
together.
together.
Okay. I'll stand up next to her.
Okay. She takes a deep breath and steps in unison with you toward the edge of the lake. And as you cautiously approach the lake, you kneel down and with a deep breath you look down at its surface. And the raindrops cease, and the grove around you grows quiet. The pond stills, providing a perfect reflective surface. And as you look down below, an image comes into focus, Goff. It's you, your reflection, nothing more.
It's just me that as I am right now.
Yeah.
Just reflecting me where like currently like in the grove.
Yeah.
What did the just for clarification, when I was told to go to the True Grove, I was told what was I told to expect to see?
Some great insight of who you are.
I mean, this is very literal. um, well, if I look over at Kari, if I glance over, does she look like she's seeing?
She's squinting down into the water.
Does it look like she's seeing more than just herself?
You're not quite sure.
Could I do an insight check, maybe?
Yeah, give me an insight check.
Does it sound like she's focused on more than just her own reflection?
Mm-hmm.
26.
You see confusion in her eyes, and then what looks like her whole body just begins to shake, her eyes growing wide with terror. And with a gasp, she scrambles away from the water.
What's wrong?
No, it's not possible.
I didn't see anything. What did you see?
You see her just kind of holding herself now and shaking and like rocking herself back and forth, and there's just tears streaming down her face, and she looks up at you and she says, no, it's not true.
I'll go over to her and like comfort her, like put my hand on her. What?
She's shaking like a leaf. She says, there was a hand on my shoulder. It was her hand. And then she leaned close to my ear and said I would be bound to her forever. And then she smiled.
Who? Umberlee?
She nods.
No. Goth's gonna look up to the Blue Hearts, say, someone come here. Please just look after her for a second. Just like someone to come over to Kari and just like sit with her for a second.
Helen does so.
Goth's gonna walk back over to the lake.
Okay.
And look into it.
You just see yourself.
What trickery is this?
Goth, give me an insight check.
22.
Okay.
Not my strongest, but
as you look down at the water again, you're at first very frustrated, a bit angry that maybe you're not seeing something here, that you've been denied some sort of vision. But then a realization dawns on you. This is your revelation. That Goff, despite all that has happened, all that has led you to this point, the challenges that have laid before you, the losses you have suffered, the victories you have achieved, it's still you. You have remained true to yourself.
like, so with that realization, I'm coming to understand that I can't find. There's nothing more for me to see
Right.
because I've not strayed from where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. What?
I said I'm proud.
Oh, okay, I understand. I understand. Like he starts talking, like he's talking to I think Eldath maybe, or just like the forces that be. I understand. Okay, all right, fine. I can accept that. But why this? And he like gestures back to Karia.
You see Coria starting to stand, and she actually stumbles a little bit, and she tries to catch herself on Ellen, but she ends up falling back onto her knees, and she doubles over, and she says, "Uncle, I don't feel so good."
He'll Goff will like look back at the lake and kind of like turn and in a frustrated way, and he'll walk back over to her and get down close to her. What's wrong?
I don't know. My head is swimming, and you see her like start to cough and retch this thick, murky water that starts pouring out of her eyes and mouth and nose.
Oh no.
No! Oh no! Oh no!
And she starts coughing, and you see she starts hacking up the seaweed onto the ground in front of her.
Oh jeez. Oh jeez.
It's the bitch!
She's
Queen.
intervening.
No. I've had enough of this. Umberlee, you are done with this girl. You must let go of bodies that do not belong to you.
Coria, in a split second, looks up toward you, and you see that her eyes are yellow. And with a scream and the sound like a crashing tidal wave, each and every one of you is flung violently in every direction. And there's this eruption of light. And you just crash up against some of the pine trees, or you skid across the ground from the impact point around Coria. And as the light dims, you see now that Coria is floating before you.
Oh shit.
The strands of her hair are lifted into the air by some phantasmal force, and they all seem to be dripping wet with salt water. And her eyes emit this yellow glow, and there's this sinister smile painted on her lips as she hovers towards you, Goff. She says, "You have come far in this realm of gods, but you have not yet proven yourself worthy to hold such immense power in your hands, champion."
And who are you to say? This is not your realm.
This is not my realm, but I am a member of the pantheon that chained Therizidun. It is my power that your ally seeks to harness now.
Actually, no, it's mine. I got your stone, you friendless bitch.
Not that I'm complaining about the outcome.
Would it hurt you so much to just, if you want to challenge me or test me or kill me or whatever it is you want, could you at least do it without possessing the body of someone who has nothing to do with me? In this situation, this is not her challenge, this is mine.
This girl had everything to do with it until you and your friends got involved. And you see Umberlee place a hand on Coria's chest. Oh, I had such plans for this one. Such important plans that she would thwart the designs of those who would threaten the freedom of the prime material, but then you and your friends had to interfere.
I did not make this decision. She did. I did not tell her to change her mind or to let go of your influence. That was her decision.
She floats closer to you and says, "No, but you did influence Jirok and weakened my power on the Isles. It was your doing and your meddling. This one would have wielded the power of my stone,
She would have kept the Isles, all of the prime materials safe. She floats even closer to you. But I still have a grip on the strands of destiny that weave about this girl.
It is not your destiny.
You wish to challenge it?
Yes.
Umberlee hovers backward, back toward the center of the pond.
Very well. As decreed by Eldath, the Grove Mother, and the other gods of this pantheon who seek to seal away the things in the dark, this is your final trial.
Oh shit.
Soon you will face terrible foes, elder gods of unfathomable designs. Your resolve will be tested in those moments. If you wish to harness power to fell such titanic foes, you must first prove that you can stand against a goddess on the plains where their strength dwells.
This is not. Wait, does this plane of Elysium include Umberlee?
It's just a realm of gods. So you would know, like,
She said a plane, and
she's not her strongest tier, but she is nonetheless a god in a realm of gods.
Oh, okay. I thought she meant like specifically it had to be her domain. So you want us to fight you? Is that it?
To prove your worthiness, as all the gods will be watching.
I'll look to everybody. How's everyone looking?
Sissel's like
Annoyed.
giving 2 thumbs up.
I'm annoyed. That's what I look like.
Ellen gives him just like a nod.
Yeah, Hiraeth is also just gonna nod.
Guess I'll too, since everyone else is
Fine.
We're all nodding.
there.
We accept your challenge.
Umberlee holds her hands out to either side and says,
Come then, let battle be joined. Defeat me, earn your prize, and pry this girl's fate from my fingers.
and as she says this, you see the water level in the pond rising up as it floods over the grove. And as the ring of trees around you fades away into blackness, a tidal wave crashes toward you, washing your whole party backward. And as you fall onto a back step, you find your foot sinking into soft sand. And the world forms around you once more, and you find yourselves now on a sandy tropical beach with a chaotic sea before you. The skeletons of great wooden ships jut from the water like a great hand trying to grip the ocean, and in the distance the sun is sinking below the horizon, tinging the sky a deep blood red. And then the beach starts to rumble. And out in the bay, you can see the water exploding outward with the arrival of a gargantuan form that pulls itself free from the depths. A woman's form rises from beneath, her skin purple and adorned in fish scale. She pulls 4 arms free from the water, each one adorned in the jewelry of sunken treasure. Her hair, a mass of seaweed, trails down her back from a crown composed of seashell, and as she lifts her form higher, you can see a writhing mass of tentacles below, her lower half that of an octopus. Umberlee, the bitch queen, raises her 4 arms menacingly toward you as her avatar blots out the sky. Swirling water cyclones begin to spin around her, tearing up the oceans and the sky overhead clouds as rain begins to fall in sheets. Come, heroes, she bellows. And that is where we will end tonight's session.
And then Mido and Sis are like, oh no, she's hot.
All I wanna do.
I see you turn into an octopus.
Woman.
He's a giant.
Yeah.
Do you guys see the peepus I drew? That was me.
Yeah.
That was
Oh.
me after Umberlee.
What the
When Umberlee
bulborb?
like started like making seaweed come out, I drew the bulborb. Yeah, that's me.
Oh my god, I read this picture.
It's me right now.
Oh boy.
I just am at the end of that. I just imagined. You know how in like 14, when you're about to start a battle, it does like the zoom in.
Yep.
That's what I. That's what played in my
Basically,
mind.
yeah.
Oh boy. It's
Oh
a real
boy.
mood shift.
Yeah, it was.
Hell yeah.
So I know that next Thursday is Thanksgiving, but what y'all's plans for Saturday?
I don't have any plans.
No
I don't have
plans.
Thanksgiving.
That's a 4-day weekend for me.
I just want to know if you're gonna be
Yeah.
around because that'll determine whether I leave Saturday morning to come back and run a game, which I really want to do, or if I stay the weekend.
I'll be around.
I'll be around.
I'll be around for
I
sure. I'm
mean,
not going
like-
anywhere.
This is the conclusion of the Goth Avatar Stone.
Yeah, I'm stoked about it.
I can tell.
Ooh.
Oh my god! let me find the art that I'm planning to use for her coat.
Yes. I
me-
would like to see.
I need to find it.
I'm predictable.
Here's the picture. I'm gonna put it in Wiggle.
Ooh, this
Oh.
is good. Very good.
Yeah.
Look at that boat.
4 arms.
She's holding that boat like it's a toy.
I
Yeah,
know,
she's
I should've
big.
held
Is
it
that how
like
big
that.
she is?
Yeah.
How the
That's the
fuck are we gonna
picture I
fight
was
that?
thinking
Yeah.
How the fuck did we fight Deathwing? With
Everyone
with
just
the dragons.
Everyone just looks at Sissel's the only one who has an avatar stone. So you're the one who got her stone.
You know the mechanics to the fight?
Ley lines, ley
Hey.
lines, ley lines.
You have to provoke.
Yeah. You know
Hey,
that one
hey, is there a
video?
tank swap in this?
Yeah. There's
I
a
don't know
tank.
why I thought that. I don't know why I was stupid enough to think that Goth wasn't gonna ever have to deal with Umberlee again.
Yeah.
I was
Surprise,
like,
bitch.
I was not feeling too. Sorry, I wasn't feeling too well towards the end, so I started spacing out, and then I just heard like the music change, and I was like, "What?" It's like, no, we were just having a tender moment, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry that I basically, it was just like this session was basically just me not talking 90% of the time.
No.
I mean, it's your art.
No, it was good.
You said you were
Okay.
spacing out, so I thought I was just boring everybody.
No,
No.
I said I wasn't feeling well, and also I always space out.
That's
So I have ADHD, and it's a nightmare.
This video is just Sissel.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna stop recording.
Oh my god.